The wave of terror has already passed, leaving only the taste of dust and the impulse to curse. Jiang Fan looked up, and the balance tipped. To know what he saw in that sky, to cross this threshold with him, you must join the watch. A wave of earth-shattering terror swept across the land. The gorge trembled violently, the heavenly clouds shattered. The ancient ice layers exploded in unison. Amid the boundless, unrivaled celestial might, a 1,000-foot phantom of an ancient sword, bathed in spirit light, stood tall against the heavens. It seemed as though it would pierce through the firmament, obliterating the sun, moon, and stars. As Jiang Fan swung his arm downward with savage intent, the 1,000-foot ancient sword shadow slashed down upon the heavens. This strike. The cold gleam illuminated 1,000 miles, its sword chi shaking the 9 states. The dark gorge momentarily brightened like midday. Fang Teiji looked up, his face pale with terror. He cried out in panic, "No, no, don't do this. I only acted impulsively. Jiang Fan, retract your attack now. I'm the Supreme Elder of the 9 sect. I'm one of your own," Jiang Fan roared with uncontrollable fury. "To hell with you!" Boom, 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 the 1,000-foot colossal shadow thundered down, straight onto Fang Teiji. His expression froze with despair. He retrieved a jade shield known for its astounding defensive capabilities, capable of withstanding a 9th layer of core formation strike of perfect mastery. It had once rescued him from countless crises. Yet, in the face of the descending sword shadow, the jade shield crumbled like clay. Without the slightest resistance, it shattered into fragments on the spot. Immediately after, Fang Teiji was mercilessly engulfed. No, Fang Teiji screamed in agonizing despair. He summoned every ounce of strength within his physique, desperately attempting to halt the sword's shadow. But in the end, it was futile. Boom, 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 the colossal sword struck the ground, flattening Fang Teiji along with the 1,000-foot span of ice, carving an endless rift in the earth. The ice layers melted under its impact, releasing massive amounts of steam. Yet Fang Teiji did not perish. A faint golden glow flickered within his body, faintly indicating that he had touched the threshold of the golden body. This allowed him to cling to life, but it left him with merely a shred of life. His entire body was bloodied and mangled, not an inch of skin unscathed. His chest, abdomen, arms, and thigh muscles had been torn apart, exposing the grim remains of his bones. His right leg was mutilated, everything below the knee missing. A section of his scalp was sliced off, blood cascading uncontrollably to soak his face. His breath was feeble beyond measure. Even so, he exhibited an unyielding will to survive, struggling to climb out of the chasm. He staggered toward the depths of the gorge, crying out in a hoarse voice, "Concubine Yun Xia, save me!" Jiang Fan's icy gaze burned with frost. Still alive, he leapt into the air, deploying his movement technique, skimming across the ice wall with nimble precision. His palm extended in command. The 5 magnetic Yuan mountain appeared in his grasp. With a fierce toss, it transformed into a mountain that thundered down upon Fang Teiji. Fang Teiji exerted all his strength to lift both arms in futile resistance. Had it been at his peak, a single punch could have thrown it away. But now, this time the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain crushed both arms instantly, pinning half his body under its overwhelming weight. No matter how much he struggled, he couldn't free himself, nor could he budge the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, until a chilling sound reverberated through the air. Jiang Fan appeared before him in a flash. Fang Teiji's pupils constricted sharply, pleading, "Jiang Fan, give me a chance to redeem myself. With my strength, I can still make substantial contributions to the human clan." Jiang Fan's expression remained as cold as frost. His voice dropped to a chilling tone. "What did Elder Zhao Wuji want you to tell me before he died?" Fang Teiji hesitated, his eyes darting evasively. He dared not respond. Crack, until Jiang Fan raised his foot and crushed Fang Teiji's right hand beneath it. His face was contorted with fury, resembling a voracious feline, as he roared, "Speak!" Fang Teiji reluctantly muttered. He said, "Green Cloud Sect's Carefree Peak has no cowards. Not going is your loss." Jiang Fan froze in place. He remembered the day he joined the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. The elders from other peaks had dismissed him entirely. It was Elder Zhao Wuji and Wen Hongyao who wouldn't abandon him, openly fighting to take him in. They restored the dignity of a poor boy with no background. He believed the matter had long since passed. Never had he expected that his refusal to become Zhao Wuji's disciple would linger as the elder's dying regret. Qiu Shengnan hobbled toward him, clutching her wound. Her expression was bereft with sorrow. Jiang Fan, Elder Zhao, was never afraid of death, but he was afraid you'd die. Afraid Green Cloud Sect would lose you. Jiang Fan's chest felt as though it was filled with seawater, bitter and unbearably heavy. Qiu Shengnin's gaze hardened as it landed on Fang Teiji's battered, pleading old face. The boundless hatred within her boiled to the surface. This bastard is to blame. To save himself, he betrayed your whereabouts. Elder Zhao had no choice but to sacrifice himself. He did it all to buy us precious time and warn you to escape. The hatred in Jiang Fan's eyes erupted like a flood. He crushed Fang Teiji's chest with a heavy stomp. Fang Teiji, are you worthy of being a nine-sect supreme elder? Are you even worthy of being human? Cough, cough, Fang Teiji spat out a chunk of bloody flesh. He understood his survival was now impossible. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, his gaze grew vicious. I only wanted to live. Is that a crime? Thud. Jiang Fan stomped his head into the icy ground, pressing half his face tightly against its frigid surface, and roared. What about the elders you killed? What crime did they commit? H-A-H-A-H-A. Fang Teiji burst into maniacal laughter. Even with his mouth pressed against the ground, he sneered defiantly. Their only crime was being too weak. Weakness is an original sin. Your uncle Zhao Wuji, I crushed him like an ant, killing him with ease. And to think his dying wish was to delay me for a moment longer. What a pathetic fool! Jiang Fan's fury surged uncontrollably. Images of Zhao Wuji's gruesome demise flooded his mind. Hatred consumed his consciousness. Thankfully, Qiu Shengnin intervened with a sharp reminder. Jiang Fan, don't fall for his schemes. He's deliberately provoking you, trying to trap you in a life of anguish and regret, corrupting your martial path's heart. Even in death, this wretch remains vile and cunning. She motioned to sever his neck to end him for good. Jiang Fan restrained himself. He stopped her and said coldly, letting him die like this would be far too merciful. Fang Teiji sneered, you think you can torment me? If I wish to die, I can sever my meridians and self-destruct at any time. Jiang Fan said nothing more, nor did he resort to torture. Instead, he slowly drew out a purple sword. He held it before Fang Teiji, speaking icily, recognize this sword? Fang Teiji squinted at it, his elderly eyes widening in shock. The purple sword? Jiang Fan's cold smile deepened. That's right, it's the purple sword. And it's the very sword your giant sect has been desperately searching for, the one that killed Tai Bubai. You, Fang Teiji screamed. Xingkang, what do you want to say? He just went missing, that's all. Jiang Fan laughed and revealed the truth. Of course you think he went missing, because I burned him to ashes. What? Fang Teiji slapped the ground and roared, did you kill him too? The great elder Tai Bubai and the second elder Fan Xingkang both were killed by Jiang Fan. Oh, right. Jiang Fan said, I forgot one more thing. The treasure you couldn't find in the Holy Land after digging for hundreds of years. I dug it out for you. To be honest, it's quite astonishing, much more precious than the iron blood true scripture. Fu, Fang Teiji, who was already gravely injured, finally couldn't take it anymore. Enraged, he spat out a mouthful of blood. You killed my giant sect elders, used my giant sect's cultivation technique, and even took my giant sect's treasure. Jiang Fan, you've gone too far. Compared to this, killing Zhao Wuji was hardly worth mentioning. Seeing his rage, Jiang Fan still felt unsatisfied. The purple sword pressed against his neck as he sneered, don't worry. I still need to take your head to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion for a reward. A traitor who killed 9 elders. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will surely reward me handsomely, right? Great Elder Fang, thank you and the giant sect for your generosity. Without you, how could I have gotten so many good things? Fang Teiji glared with eyes full of rage. Jiang Fan, I'll haunt you even if I become a ghost. I won't forgive you. Plop, blood spattered. The purple sword sliced through Fang Teiji's neck. A furious face with wide-open eyes filled with resentment and unwillingness rolled into the bottomless ice chasm and disappeared completely. The sneer on Jiang Fan's face faded. Grief took over once more. His heart did not find solace in revenge. On the contrary, it felt heavier. Xia Caoj and others hurried over, their mood equally sorrowful, because they all had familiar elders who died inside. Jiang Fan, we should leave quickly. Such a commotion would surely alert Concubine Yun Xia. If she arrives, we won't be able to leave. Qiu Shengnin, holding back her sorrow, reminded, don't let Elder Zhao's death be in vain. But Jiang Fan clenched his fists, his voice low, you go ahead. I need to find Elder Zhao's body and bring him back to the Green Cloud Sect. And while I'm at it, eliminate Concubine Yun Xia to help complete Elder Zhao's mission. With that, he stepped towards the dark canyon. Qiu Shengnin was startled and hurriedly said, don't go. Concubine Yun Xia is in the nascent soul realm. Even if you have a nascent soul one-strike jade token, it won't be enough. The nascent soul jade token, after all, was just a jade token. Not only was it slow to activate, but there was one fewer with each use. On the other hand, a nascent soul cultivator could unleash an attack equivalent to a jade token with a casual strike. Jiang Fan facing a nascent soul cultivator alone was no different than seeking death. She isn't at the nascent soul realm. Jiang Fan, without turning back, sped off with his movement technique. The reason was simple. If Concubine Yun Xia was in the nascent soul realm, the demon race wouldn't have to wage war. The double demon emperor could simply rule the nine-sect land. The heavenly mechanism pavilion master would bow down, letting them take whatever they wanted. Precisely because both sides were evenly matched, they needed to start a war to achieve their goals. Therefore, Concubine Yun Xia couldn't be in the nascent soul realm. It had to be certain factors making her appear to be at the nascent soul realm. The nascent soul jade token could still kill her. Qiu Shengnan's mind shook. Standing there in deep thought for a long time, she finally realized, we've all been deceived. Swish, 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 Jiang Fan's agile figure flashed continuously in the canyon. Along the way, he saw the corpses of the 7 sect elders. None of them were intact. They had all died miserably. His heart felt complicated. He recalled what Jian Linyuan had said. All wars were merely tools for those in power to achieve their goals. The 7 elders as well. The disciples who died at the Boundary Mountain too. All were pawns swept up by the great tide. They sacrificed their lives but benefited the players. And the Demon Emperor who initiated this war was the true culprit. Demon Emperor? Jiang Fan passed by a female elder's body. One side of her face was still intact, her eyes still open, as if she still had attachments to the world. This made Jiang Fan unable to contain his grief and anger. In the future, it will be me, Jiang Fan, who kills you. Swish, leaving behind a chilling promise. He dashed rapidly towards the depths of the canyon. A cold, deserted tent and several dead demon beast bodies lay abandoned. Undoubtedly, Concubine Yun Xia sensed the nascent soul-level attack and fled with her team. This also indirectly proved that Concubine Yun Xia was not at the nascent soul realm. However, the canyon was enclosed. Where could they run off to? Jiang Fan's eyes flickered with cold light, gripping the activated jade token tightly and pursued swiftly. He didn't need to chase long. The 7 wore king-level demon beasts, severely wounded by Fang Teiji, didn't run fast. Even so, they still protected a woman in snow-white garments. Her beauty was breathtaking, her gaze gentle, matching exactly the description given by the Golden Claw Iron Wolf. Undoubtedly, she was Concubine Yun Xia. Seeming to sense something, she turned her head and saw a pale-skinned, exquisitely handsome young man in black. She withdrew her gaze. Taking out a jade box from her bosom, inside were hundreds of drops of Demon Emperor's essence blood. She dipped her fingers and flicked them, sprinkling a drop of essence blood onto the back of each War King demon beast. Immediately, the scene that happened to Xu and Jia reoccurred. Their 6th layer of core formation cultivation skyrocketed. Strength, speed, agility, everything drastically increased to the 7th layer. More astonishingly, blood wings formed on their bodies. As the wings flapped, they all rose into the air, shielding Concubine Yun Xia as they flew high, not giving Jiang Fan a chance to activate the nascent soul jade token. Jiang Fan's expression changed. No wonder they dared to stay in a dead-end canyon, unafraid of being trapped. It turned out that the Demon Emperor's essence blood also granted them the ability to fly. This discovery shocked Jiang Fan. Imagine if the human clan relied on the Boundary Mountain to fight a decisive battle with the demon beasts. Hundreds of 7th and 8th layer core formation beast kings flying over the Boundary Mountain. That would be a disaster. Concubine Yun Xia must not be allowed to escape, and the Demon Emperor's essence blood in her possession must be destroyed. Concubine Yun Xia, didn't you order Fang Teiji to capture me? I'm here. Are you leaving now? Concubine Yun Xia abruptly turned around. Her gentle gaze became sharp. Are you Jiang Fan? Jiang Fan said, that's right. This is your only chance to capture me. The War King demon beasts, one after another, stopped and roared. Is he the Jiang Fan? The one who destroyed our demon race's 10,000 dead spirit army, bringing shame to us. I'll kill him. Let me do it. I'll go too. But Concubine Yun Xia frowned. She sternly ordered, don't stop, keep moving. Since he dared to come, he might have a second nascent soul one-strike jade token. Don't fall for his trick. Reluctantly, the War King demon beasts obeyed and continued flying upward. In the blink of an eye, they were over 200 feet high. At such a distance, the threat of a nascent soul strike was greatly diminished. Only then did Concubine Yun Xia feel slightly assured, her beautiful eyes refocusing on Jiang Fan. She said calmly, "It's a pity your mission has failed this time. We'll meet again." She turned back. Her snow-white dress fluttered, merging with the clouds in the sky, enchanting and serene. Heavenly thunder, 6 parts cloud shadow? Suddenly, she heard a serene voice from the ground. Her slender willow-leaf eyebrows slightly lifted. "Heavenly thunder, 6 parts, seems like I've heard of it somewhere." She muttered softly, looking down at the earth. 200 feet apart, Jiang Fan was already as tiny as a quail. If not for his black robe contrasting with the snowy ground, he would have been nearly invisible. At this moment, Jiang Fan's entire body was surrounded by flowing lightning. He looked just like a thunder god. Transforming into lightning, Concubine Yun Xia frowned slightly, recalling something carefully. Her face suddenly changed, exclaiming, "Run! This is the thunder path instantaneous movement of the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Temple," before she could finish speaking. Crack, on the ground, Jiang Fan transformed into a straight lightning bolt, shooting toward the sky. In the blink of an eye, he flew over Concubine Yun Xia. He held a jade talisman tightly in his hands, already activated. "Concubine Yun Xia, enjoy the grand gift I've prepared for you." Crack, the jade talisman shattered instantly. "Stop!" Concubine Yun Xia's immortal beauty changed suddenly, but it was too late. The jade talisman exploded, a burst of pure chi erupted. Amidst the swirling aura, a pair of massive human eyes, an illusion, floated in the air. The eyelashes were long, trembling gently in the wind. The pupils were like brown chrysanthemums, opening and closing with the movement of the eyes. They locked onto Concubine Yun Xia. A ripple like water radiated from the eyes, spreading toward her. There was no fluctuation of spiritual power. It didn't even have the destructive aura expected from a nascent soul strike. Yet, Concubine Yun Xia's pupils contracted sharply, her whole body unable to stop trembling. Beneath her skirt, 9 snow-white foxtails stood erect. Her indifferent immortal beauty was filled with despair. "Protect the imperial concubine!" The War King demon beasts flapped their wings with all their might, forming wall after wall of flesh, protecting Concubine Yun Xia at the back. Buzz, the ripple swept over. The foremost War King-level demon beast turned into a pile of yellow dust without even a scream. That was its beast core powder. Its skin, flesh, blood, tendons, and even bones dissolved into nothingness as the ripple passed. Only the hardest beast core turned into a handful of dust. Next, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, until the last War King-level demon beast. Without exception, they all became small piles of dust. Their sacrifice did not hinder the ripple in the slightest. Finally, it ruthlessly swept over Concubine Yun Xia. At this moment, Concubine Yun Xia's 9 long tails curled backward, wrapping her tightly within them. From afar, she looked like a round, snow-white sedan chair. At the same time, a strong nascent soul aura emanated from within. The sacrifice of the War King-level demon beasts couldn't hinder the ripple, but it bought her time to unleash the power of the nascent soul realm. "Rise," she called out softly as the ripple swept over. A white and beautiful silver fox head illusion emerged. It elegantly opened its mouth, with a gentle breath in. The sweeping ripple was entirely swallowed, but it was only for a moment. The illusion shattered suddenly. The remaining faint ripple struck the 9 fox tails. Poof! 1 fox tail turned into nothingness. Then the second, third, fourth, until the 9th disappeared. The ripple was now too weak to notice. It struck the now unprotected Concubine Yun Xia. She bit her silver teeth, channeling all her demon power to resist. However, this last trace of ripple still contained divine majesty. In an instant, her delicate body shook violently. Her face paled quickly, and she spewed out a mouthful of uncontrollable essence blood. With a painful groan in her nose, her body seemed to be drained of strength. She could no longer stay suspended in the air, falling straight down, 200 feet, 100 feet, 50 feet, 10 feet. Seeing that she was about to smash into the ground, she mustered her last bit of strength to swallow the demon emperor essence blood she had held in her mouth. CHCH? This drop of demon emperor essence blood was special. After swallowing it, blood-colored thunder arcs burst from Concubine Yun Xia's body. The thunder arcs struck the ground, greatly slowing her fall. Finally, with a thud, she hit the ground, shifting her internal organs. Another large mouthful of blood spurted out. A nascent soul jade token strike, truly extraordinary. Pain etched across Concubine Yun Xia's brow, she muttered softly. The 7 protectors had worn down their bodies, and even she had resorted to using her bloodline power to call upon a bit of nascent soul power. Yet the residual power still severely injured her. If she hadn't held a drop of Demon Emperor Essence blood in her mouth, she would have fallen to her death. But before she could catch her breath, a purple sword shadow whizzed through the air toward her chest. Her pupils contracted and she struggled to turn slightly. The purple sword pierced through her waist and abdomen, bringing out a shower of snowflakes. Concubine Yun Xia gasped in pain again. Immediately after, someone grabbed the purple sword, its cold blade pressed against her snow-white neck. Concubine Yun Xia looked up. It was Jiang Fan, the lightning fading from his body. "Who are you from the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Temple?" Concubine Yun Xia coughed up blood, struggling to speak. Jiang Fan remained indifferent. "Knowing that, does it change your death?" Concubine Yun Xia shook her head, smiling bitterly. "I admit my defeat. Dying under a nascent soul jade token isn't shameful for the Fox clan." She said no more, closing her eyes, awaiting death. One had to admit, Concubine Yun Xia was graceful and composed even in death. But Jiang Fan had no sympathy. An enemy was an enemy. No matter how beautiful, she deserved to die. "You're actually willing to kill such a beautiful woman. Kid, you're really ruthless, not sparing a beauty." The Black Mirror evil spirit, dormant for a long time, suddenly came out. Jiang Fan responded coldly. "Are you joking? This is a demon emperor concubine, someone who can unleash nascent soul power at crucial moments. Can I really afford to let her go?" He was not one to be swayed by beauty, especially such a dangerous existence. The Black Mirror evil spirit laughed. "I'm glad you think that way. I was worried you'd go soft at the sight of beauty. The silver fox lineage she belongs to is inherently human-shaped and extremely beautiful, but very dangerous with a soul-devouring talent. This one even once aspired to the nascent soul, nearly reaching its threshold. If you were captivated by her beauty, you wouldn't even know how you died." Soul-devouring divine skill. Jiang Fan grew wary. As a soul practitioner, he knew well the dangers and mysteries of the soul. His eyes flashed fiercely, ready to kill her. Junior brother Jiang, at this moment. Xia Caoj and a few others hurried over. Liang Feiyan supporting someone staggering toward him. Looking closely, Jiang Fan's body shook. "Elder Zhao?" The middle-aged man, covered in blood and pale-faced, was none other than Zhao Wuji. His chest bore a grim handprint, likely the wound inflicted by Fang Teji. Oddly, the wound had healed, allowing Zhao Wuji to survive. Liang Feiyan exclaimed excitedly. "We found him in the camp. Concubine Yun Xia and her followers probably intended to do something to Elder Zhao, but your nascent soul jade token scared them off. That's how he survived." Tears of joy welled up in Jiang Fan's eyes. His hand holding the purple sword trembled slightly. He muttered involuntarily, "That's wonderful, that's wonderful." He truly thought he would live with lifelong regret. Jiang Fan, who never believed in gods or Buddha. Now in his heart, he gave thanks to all the gods and Buddhas in the heavens. All the other elders had tragically fallen, but Elder Zhao had survived. If this wasn't divine protection, what was it? He never wanted to experience such a scene again. Looking down at the resigned Concubine Yun Xia, his eyes flashed coldly. He was about to kill her. Wait a moment." Zhao Wuji half opened his weak eyes. Struggling to speak, he stopped Jiang Fan. "What is it, Elder Zhao?" Jiang Fan asked. "This is Concubine Yun Xia. She caused the death of the 7 elders. She also did this to you." The more Jiang Fan spoke, the more he hated her. Turning his wrist, the cold sword edge cut into her snow-white skin. Crimson blood flowed along the blade, but Jiang Fan stopped, because Zhao Wuji said something so unbelievable. "She saved me." Jiang Fan was stunned, not to mention Xia Caoj, Liang Feiyan, Ouyang Jun, Zai Liushu, and Wu Manyu. Even Qiu Shengnan was taken aback and said, "Elder Zhao, what are you talking about? She caused so many elders to die miserably. How could she save you?" Zhao Wuji trembled as he took out a revitalizing pill and swallowed it with difficulty. After a moment, he regained some strength. He explained, "Fang Teji pierced through my chest. I was dying. She used nascent soul power to reshape my heart and heal the wound. Then she placed me in a tent, waiting for you to rescue me." How could this be possible? Jiang Fan's eyes flickered as he grabbed Concubine Yun Xia's collar and said coldly, "What kind of trick are you playing? So many elders of the 9 sect died because of you, and you're pretending to be compassionate now." Concubine Yun Xia slightly opened her eyes, glanced at him, and then quietly closed them. She calmly said, "Kill me." She was unwilling to explain, not even a single word. Zhao Wuji's eyes showed complexity as he sighed and said, "In my unconscious state, I heard her say something. She said when Fang Teji tried to humiliate her, I was the only one who stood up to stop it. There are not many such humans left. It would be a pity if you died." Then I was saved. Jiang Fan's expression froze. He stared at Concubine Yun Xia's face, finding it hard to believe, and said, "Do you have such a kind heart? A demon emperor's concubine would save a human." Concubine Yun Xia remained silent, lying on the ground, quietly waiting for death. Jiang Fan hesitated as he held his sword. She was the enemy, yet she was Zhao Wuji's savior. Killing or not killing her both posed problems. But he only hesitated for a moment before stealing his heart. "Let me be the villain." Handing her over to someone else for disposal would be troublesome. This matter should not trouble others. "Uncle Master, we should capture her and hand her over to Vice Pavilion Master Yi for disposal. She is the Demon Emperor's concubine and must know a lot of valuable information. Alive, she is more valuable than dead," Xia Caoj suggested. She could see Jiang Fan's dilemma. If he killed Concubine Yun Xia, he would feel a twinge of guilt in his heart. Qiu Shengnan sighed deeply and said, "Fine, let's take her back." To be honest, the 7 elders were all killed by Fang Teji. She didn't actually make a move. Instead, she saved Elder Zhao. Even with her experience, she found it tricky and difficult to handle, so it was better to leave it to Yi Kangyuan. Jiang Fan frowned. This woman is the Demon Emperor's concubine and can still exert a bit of nascent soul power. It is very risky to capture her alive. I think killing her on the spot is the safest. He did not believe that capturing her alive was a good idea. This woman, although Jiang Fan seemed to handle her effortlessly, that was because Jiang Fan immediately used the nascent soul jade token without giving her a chance to fight back. Even so, she had miraculously survived a nascent soul strike. Just this alone was not something an ordinary person in the core formation realm could achieve. Qiu Shengnan said, "That's not a problem." She took out a shiny black chain from her sleeve and said, "This is the dragon binding chain given to us by Vice Pavilion Master Yi before we set out. When it was discovered, it was binding a nascent soul realm skeleton. If Concubine Yun Xia can break free from this chain, there's almost nothing in the world that can hold her." "Oh, a nascent soul realm skeleton was bound to death. If so, it should be much safer." "Then bind her." Jiang Fan reluctantly sheathed his sword. Qiu Shengnan stepped forward and bound her hands tightly behind her back. Jiang Fan frowned. "What about her feet? What if she runs away? Tie her feet too." Qiu Shengnan thought it made sense and firmly bound Concubine Yun Xia's legs together. This rendered her unable to walk, only allowing her to hop at most. Concubine Yun Xia opened her eyes and glared slightly at Jiang Fan. This boy was truly ruthless and overly cautious. Everyone wanted to capture her alive, but Jiang Fan insisted on killing her. Not only did he bind her hands, but he also wanted to tie her feet, completely crushing her escape plans. "What are you looking at?" Jiang Fan glared back. "Put a chain around her neck too. If she tries to run, strangle her." Concubine Yun Xia, humiliated and angry, said, "You." She was not a slave nor a dog. She was the Demon Emperor's concubine. Even if she were a captive, she should have the dignity of one, right? Qiu Shengnan rolled her eyes. "Binding her hands and feet is enough. She can't cause trouble." But Jiang Fan shook his head and said, "When dealing with unknown enemies, it's best to be cautious. There is no such thing as over-preparedness." Saying this, he personally wrapped a dragon binding chain around her neck. The other end was wrapped around his arm. He coldly said, "You better behave. If you dare to act rashly, the nascent soul jade token will be waiting." Concubine Yun Xia tugged at the chain around her neck, finding it impossible to pull off, and glared angrily at Jiang Fan. "Aren't you afraid that I will seek revenge on you in the future?" Jiang Fan calmly said, "Among the demon race, there are plenty who want to settle scores with me. One more of you doesn't make a difference." This rendered Concubine Yun Xia speechless. Indeed, which demon didn't want to tear Jiang Fan into pieces? One more her wouldn't matter. It was like they said, when you have too many fleas, you don't feel the itch. By the way, where is the Demon Emperor's essence blood? Suddenly, Jiang Fan fixated on Concubine Yun Xia and asked. Everyone's spirits lifted. They almost forgot the most important thing. Wasn't their ultimate goal to destroy the highly threatening Demon Emperor's essence blood? Concubine Yun Xia slightly glanced at Jiang Fan, then averted her eyes, ignoring him. But she soon regretted it, because Jiang Fan took out a string of white bone necklace from his pocket. He pulled off a crystal from it and crushed it, covering his entire body with crystal shards, forming a thick layer of armor. Next, he took out an ancient copper coin and held it in his mouth, ensuring he could activate it at any time. But that wasn't all. He also took out heavenly mountain silk and gently wrapped his hands, forming a pair of gloves. Everyone's foreheads lit up with big question marks. Xianxia tilted her head and asked, "Uncle Master, what are you doing? Are you preparing for a battle?" Jiang Fan calmly said, searching her. Xianxia looked at Concubine Yun Xia and said, "Is it necessary to be so cautious for a body search?" Jiang Fan coolly said, "It is necessary. Do you think a demon emperor's concubine wouldn't carry some dangerous life-saving items? I don't believe it." Saying this, he walked forward. Concubine Yun Xia's delicate face changed slightly, sternly saying, "How dare you? How can this concubine be body-searched by a man like you?" Qiu Shengnan also found it inappropriate. She said, "Let me do it. She's a woman, how can you search her body decently?" Jiang Fan then said, "If Elder Qiu has enough life-saving magical treasures, I have no objection." Qiu Shengnan hesitated immediately, although it was unlikely to be as exaggerated as Jiang Fan said, "But what if?" Liang Feiyin corner of her mouth twitched. "Had I known life-saving magical treasures were so useful, I should have brought some from the Myriad Sword sect." Zai Liushu also looked on with envy and said, "Junior brother Jiang, will you share the feeling afterward? This is Concubine Yun Xia, known for her immortal beauty. Seeing her is a blessing, touching her would be worth dying for." Jiang Fan glared at both of them. Two hopeless fools, he stepped up to Concubine Yun Xia and said, "Since you won't take it out, I'll do it myself." Concubine Yun Xia was both anxious and ashamed. "How dare you?" Jiang Fan pressed her shoulder and said coldly, "What do I fear? You should be grateful I haven't killed you. Search your body, what is there to hesitate about?" After speaking, from her shoulder, his hand slid down her arm inch by inch. Concubine Yun Xia's delicate body trembled, and she sternly shouted, "Stop it!" She only felt that Jiang Fan's palm was like a thunder arc, and wherever it passed, an electric current surged through, causing her white skin to break out in pink bumps. Soon Jiang Fan's hand reached into her sleeve. Hiss, a hissing sound. A small, dense black snake suddenly came out from her sleeve. It fiercely bit into Jiang Fan's hand. Fortunately, his hand was covered with heavenly mountain silk, preventing the snake from biting through. Failing its first strike, it shot towards Jiang Fan's neck like a bullet. Hiss, with a flash of purple light, the small black snake was sliced in half. Despite this, it still fiercely lunged at Jiang Fan's foot, where he stomped its head to pieces. Hiss, hiss, to everyone's horror, more small black snakes came slithering out of the sleeve, surging forward. One of them, with black and gold markings, sped forward like lightning, mixing in with the ordinary black snakes and suddenly striking towards Jiang Fan's chest. Its mouth clamped onto the crystal there, which immediately turned black and began to decay. At the critical moment, Qiu Shengnan unleashed the power of her 6th level of core formation cultivation, slicing the small black snake's head with a fierce sword strike. Hiss, the snake head was cut off, falling to the ground and rolling in pain. The venom from its fangs dripped out, corroding a large black pit several meters in diameter into the snow-white ice. Qiu Shengnan took a deep breath, a 6th level of core formation venomous snake. If she had touched it earlier, the consequence would have been hiss. She quickly stepped back to maintain a safe distance. Xianxia and the others also stepped back in shock. Jiang Fan had guessed right. This woman had dangerous things on her and not just a few. "I knew you weren't honest," Jiang Fan said with lingering fear. Fortunately, he had been cautious. With that, he rudely took out everything from her sleeves, mostly small, daily items, and some very old books. One piece of amber stood out to Jiang Fan, the same one she had held in her mouth, shooting out blood-colored thunder arcs, the demon emperor's essence blood. Jiang Fan took it in his hand. After a brief thought, he frowned. "How is there only one drop? No, where is your box of demon emperor essence blood? It should have over 100 drops." He had personally seen Concubine Yun Xia dip her finger in the jade box and sprinkle demon emperor essence blood on 7 war king-level demon beasts. It couldn't possibly be reduced to just one drop. His gaze moved, landing on her heaving chest. Concubine Yun Xia trembled and urgently said, "Don't move. I'll take it out myself." She was afraid of Jiang Fan. This guy absolutely wouldn't treat her as a demon emperor concubine. He really would dare to touch, so she could only do it herself. With her bound hands, she clumsily reached into her chest, and finally took out the jade box. Jiang Fan snatched it with a swift motion. He examined it carefully and found that it was indeed the box, filled with extremely volatile demon emperor essence blood. That's it! Jiang Fan breathed a long sigh of relief. Finally, they found this box of dangerous essence blood that could influence the great battle. Concubine Yun Xia showed a hint of heaviness in her eyes. The task the demon emperor gave me ultimately failed. She sighed deeply. However, she quickly noticed Jiang Fan still staring at her. Her heart skipped a beat. You have the demon emperor essence blood already, what more do you want? Jiang Fan showed a thoughtful expression. Since it is such an important thing, why did you give it to me so readily? Is there something even more important on you? So you sacrificed the pawn to protect the bishop, throwing out the demon emperor essence blood. His gaze slowly moved toward Concubine Yun Xia's chest. It seems I'll have to search again myself. Concubine Yun Xia covered her chest in shame and anger. Do you dare? Jiang Fan wasted no words. He pulled her arms away and forcefully reached in. Jiang Fan, stop! Concubine Yun Xia, gravely injured, was powerless to stop him. Feeling the intruding hand, she was so ashamed that tears welled up, stomping her feet in indignation. Yet Jiang Fan did not pause. After a meticulous and serious search, he finally found something soft. He pulled it out to see. It was a piece of tattered, wrapped beast skin, aged over the years. I knew you weren't honest. Jiang Fan waved the beast skin in his hand. Concubine Yun Xia bit her lip, glaring hatefully at Jiang Fan. She used to be a gentle person. Since encountering Jiang Fan, gentleness had gradually departed from her. What drove her to the brink was that Jiang Fan didn't stop there. He glanced at Concubine Yun Xia's waist and thighs, pondering, just in case, it's best to search your entire body thoroughly. He placed her across his knee, starting from her waist and moving down to her thighs. From the thighs to the lower legs, finally even removing the white calfskin boots on her feet. Jiang Fan thoroughly searched her entire body, inside and out. Concubine Yun Xia's eyes blazed with anger and shame. She felt an unprecedented humiliation. With gritted teeth, she angrily shouted, Jiang Fan, I will kill you. Jiang Fan pretended not to hear. After ensuring he had searched everything on her, he began to examine the beast skin she had protected closely to her chest. She had been willing to give up the demon emperor essence blood just to hide this item. It was clearly no ordinary item. Opening it up, he found crooked writings on it. The others realized Jiang Fan had made a significant discovery, and they gathered around to see. Concubine Yun Xia felt a wave of nervousness upon seeing this. This is demon race script, isn't it? Xia Caoj frowned. Several people turned simultaneously to Wu Manyu. She was the only one among them who recognized demon race script. Hee. At crucial moments, you have to rely on me. Wu Manyu swayed her hips confidently as she walked over slowly. She snatched the beast skin and nudged Jiang Fan aside with her hip. Give it to me? Illiterate. She rolled her eyes at Jiang Fan and began examining the beast skin carefully, boasting with emphasis. Little demon race script. It wouldn't stump an uneducated person like you, however. As her eyes settled on the script, her smile froze. After studying it closely, her expression stiffened. This script, which tribe's script is it? Liang Feiyan was puzzled. Isn't it demon race script? Wu Manyu shook her head, awkwardly trying to save face. No, I don't recognize all demon race scripts, but I know over 90% of them. Of the 100 or so characters in front of me, I don't recognize a single one. It has to be another tribe's script. Upon hearing this, everyone felt a wave of disappointment. They would have to take it back to Boundary Mountain to have someone study this beast skin. No one noticed that Concubine Yun Xia subtly let out a deep breath, showing a relieved expression. But then a sudden remark made Concubine Yun Xia's face change dramatically. She looked incredibly shocked. Calling others illiterate, huh? An elite of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion can't even recognize the script of the Dayang clan. Fan scoffed. These are demon tribe characters. However, they are not the mainstream script of the present-day demon tribe. It became an obscure script thousands of years ago, still used only by the Dayang clan. Later, after the war with the ancient giants, the Dayang clan's population dwindled. In the following millennium, they completely perished. Their script lost its inheritance several hundred years ago. It is only found in the bundle of all races' languages preserved by the human clan. In other places, it would be very hard to find. The Dayang clan? Wu Manyu's eyes twitched, her voice tense. You make it sound true. Everyone doesn't know the script anyway, so whatever you say won't be questioned. Jiang Fan laughed. He picked up a tattered ancient book from the ground, shook off the ice flakes, and said, Read out a few words from this. Louder. Wu Manyu peered at it, only to see a few large characters on the cover. They were in the mainstream demon tribe script. But when she recognized the content, her face stiffened and she said, "It's a cultivation technique, not important." Jiang Fan chuckled. "Yes, a cultivation technique, a book named Lost Writings of Ancient Demons. You really think you're the only one who understands the demon tribe script? Just spouting nonsense." He grabbed the beast hide, impatiently waving his hand. "Step aside, illiterate." "You!" Wu Manyu's face turned red and then green. The only one who could embarrass her repeatedly was this bastard Jiang Fan. "How do you know the demon tribe script? When we set off, you didn't know it." She didn't believe it. In just one day, Jiang Fan had learned the demon tribe script, and even the obscure Dayang clan script. Jiang Fan shrugged. "Guess." Wu Manyu gritted her teeth, glancing at his chest, then silently swallowed her anger. Xia Cultivation leaned over, her fragrance intoxicating. With a stunning face, her bright eyes full of curiosity. "Uncle, what is written on it?" Jiang Fan looked at the beast hide and muttered. "It seems to describe a place. The general meaning is, western clouds cover the sky, bells ring at midnight, good and evil separate into two paths, conversion in front of Buddha." After reading, Jiang Fan frowned deeply. "It's full of metaphors, very mysterious. And there seems to be a continuation." He glanced at the lower part of the beast hide, which had a very neat cut. There must be more content. He habitually looked at Concubine Yun Xia's ample chest. "After groping for so long, what else haven't you found?" Concubine Yun Xia blushed, ashamed and annoyed. Jiang Fan blushed. Indeed, he had groped everywhere, nothing hidden there. "Where is the continuation?" Jiang Fan asked. Concubine Yun Xia snorted softly and turned away. But fearing Jiang Fan would act wildly, she said, "It's in Chun Nai's hands." Chun Nai? Qiu Shengnan was slightly startled. "Chun Nai, one of the 4 great demon kings?" With sea charm included, there should now be 5 demon kings. Concubine Yun Xia nodded slightly, calmly saying, "If you want it, go find her." Jiang Fan thought while holding the beast hide. In the end, he decided not to ask Concubine Yun Xia the meaning of those 4 sentences. She probably wouldn't tell the truth, no need to waste words. "All right, pack up and let's leave quickly. After all, this place is within demon territory, it's not suitable to stay long," Jiang Fan said. Xia Cultivation pointed at Concubine Yun Xia, who was bound at the hands, feet, and neck. "What about her?" Jiang Fan said. "Simple, I'll carry her." He bent down to sling her over his shoulder. "Get away," Concubine Yun Xia bit her lip. "I can walk on my own." She had been to human clan markets. The farmers from the mountains carried piglets on their shoulders like this. After speaking, she hopped forward on her own legs under the strange stares of the group. Xia Cultivation muttered, "Why do I feel it would be more elegant to be carried by Uncle over his shoulder?" The group continued on their way. Along the way, they retrieved the bodies of the 7 sect elders, properly taking them with them. Finally, at the exit, Hua Xianxia and Li Shiqian waited anxiously. The others went inside, while the 2 were stationed at the entrance to keep watch. To prevent demons from ambushing them, the Iron Claw Golden Wolf babbled to itself. "Heh! With such a commotion, Concubine Yun Xia must have fled. What is that man even thinking? Could he actually bring back? It suddenly shuddered. Because Jiang Fan and the others had returned. Walking at the rear, Jiang Fan had an elegant silhouette in snowy robes slung over his shoulder. Her face flushed with uncontrolled embarrassment. After hopping halfway, her already injured leg had gone numb. So she chose Xia Cultivation's suggestion. Let Jiang Fan carry her back. Jiang Fan casually threw her in front of the Iron Claw Golden Wolf, making Concubine Yun Xia wince. This bastard, he was treating her like cargo, throwing her like that? Suddenly, Concubine Yun Xia noticed the stunned-looking Iron Claw Golden Wolf. Immediately understanding why humans had come, her expression turned cold. "You dared to betray us to the humans. I'm genuinely surprised." As the deputy captain of the Royal Guard team, the Iron Claw Golden Wolf's loyalty was unquestionable. It had even undergone special training to withstand torture. Even if beaten to death, it was trained to endure pain. Unexpectedly, the Iron Claw Golden Wolf turned out to be an exception. "It wasn't me, it really wasn't me," the Iron Claw Golden Wolf hurriedly said. "I swear to the heavens, I didn't leak any of your information." "From your mouth," Concubine Yun Xia, being exceptionally smart, wouldn't fall for word games. The Iron Claw Golden Wolf suddenly felt guilty and awkwardly said, "You can't blame me. This little bastard can read minds." Slap. In response, Jiang Fan delivered a venomous slap. "Ow, ow," the Iron Claw Golden Wolf jumped in pain with a ghostly expression. "You understand the demon tribe script?" Seeing Jiang Fan's lack of reaction, it cautiously tested. Jiang Fan, still no reaction. Cutie, still no reaction. Haha, little bastard, you don't understand at all. Slap, ow, 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 the iron claw golden wolf got another slap, so poisonous it fell over, spitting foam. Its eyes widened. You really understand. Jiang Fan turned to Concubine Yun Xia and sincerely suggested, you demon tribes should add an IQ test as a criterion for selecting the deputy captain of the Royal Guard team. Concubine Yun Xia massaged her forehead. I agree with that suggestion. No wonder her location was exposed. With such an unusual deputy captain, it was divine protection that kept her safe until now. Get on, head back to Boundary Mountain. The group mounted the demon wolves. This time, including the elders of the Nine Sect and Concubine Yun Xia, it became cramped. Although Concubine Yun Xia had done her best to move to the Iron Claw Golden Wolf's rear, she was still tightly pressed against Jiang Fan's arm. This made her extremely uncomfortable, frowning frequently, casting discontented looks. Jiang Fan was engrossed in handling two different Demon Emperor Essence blood in amber and jade boxes. Constantly interrupted, he couldn't help but sigh. You're not some innocent maiden. Why so many concerns? If you don't like it, hang on the demon wolf's neck. Concubine Yun Xia clenched her jade-white fist. She realized she had been angrier within a half-day of meeting Jiang Fan than in an entire year. Hey, are you really here to deliver Demon Emperor Essence blood? Jiang Fan suddenly asked. He was staring at the jade box containing hundreds of drops of Demon Emperor Essence blood. A look of doubt sprouted in his eyes. Xianxia ahead turned her head in surprise. Why ask that? Didn't you extract this information from the mouth of the Golden Claw Iron Wolf? The Golden Claw Iron Wolf running below looked up and murmured loudly. Not from my mouth, but from my heart. With my mouth, I am still a loyal wolf of the demon race. In life, I am a wolf of the demon race, and in death, I am a ghost of the demon race. I was only deceived, my heart was. Jiang Fan raised his fist and hit its back, quieting it down. Staring at the jade box, Jiang Fan pondered, there are as many as 200 drops of Demon Emperor Essence blood in here. So far, the Beast Kings attacking Boundary Mountain combined wouldn't have as many. Right, of those that have used Demon Emperor Essence blood, I have only seen a few. So, with so much Demon Emperor Essence blood, is it really meant for the battlefield? Everyone was just focused on completing the task. Thinking about it carefully, there indeed was an issue. If the Essence blood was meant for the upcoming decisive battle, but when and where the battle would happen, or if it would even occur, was unknown. Concubine Yun Xia holding a large box of Demon Emperor Essence blood waiting in the Valley of the Dead. It indeed seemed unreasonable. Unless the Demon Emperor Essence blood had another purpose. A pair of eyes looked over. Concubine Yun Xia said calmly, Don't look at me, I won't say a word. I am not afraid of torture either, just as she had previously faced death calmly. On the major issues of the demon race, she showed no leniency. Jiang Fan turned his gaze and said, Then can you at least say what the difference is between these two types of Demon Emperor blood? It was apparent that the Demon Emperor Essence blood in amber was much purer. The one in the jade box was slightly inferior for some reason. Concubine Yun Xia closed her eyes without a word, not willing to utter a single more word. Jiang Fan nodded, and a wisp of poisonous mist rose from his palm. As if sensing it, Concubine Yun Xia disdainfully said, Torture. Indeed, what can't you do? Go ahead. She closed her eyes again, but immediately opened them. You misunderstood, I am treating your wounds regularly, Jiang Fan said calmly. The recovery ability of the demon race is surprisingly strong for us humans. What's more, you are a Demon Emperor concubine. Your recovery speed is faster than ordinary demon beasts. Before returning to Boundary Mountain, I will injure you regularly to ensure you have no capability to retaliate. Xianxia nodded secretly. Jiang Fan was truly thoughtful. The rest of the disciples hadn't considered this. Only Jiang Fan thought of everything. She retrieved the rhomboid short sword hidden in her sleeve. She had intended to stab Concubine Yun Xia later. Now it was unnecessary. Stretching her body, she sat down cross-legged to meditate with peace of mind. She left the task of guarding Concubine Yun Xia entirely to Jiang Fan. You are too ruthless, aren't you? Concubine Yun Xia angrily opened her eyes. Aren't you afraid I'll escape and settle the score with you? Jiang Fan said, Precisely because I'm afraid I can't give you the chance to escape. Come, be obedient. Would you prefer to be injured elegantly by my poison palm, or do you need me to stab you with a sword for a quicker pain? Concubine Yun Xia ground her silver teeth. She grabbed Jiang Fan's hand and slapped it on her shoulder. "I'll do it myself." Jiang Fan waved his hand, saying, "No, no, no. Use the sword, you can do it yourself. To be elegant requires a price like answering me. Why are the two types of demon emperor essence blood different? Could there be two demon emperors?" So that's what he was waiting for. Concubine Yun Xia laughed in anger. This bastard's mind must have 800 tricks. After a brief hesitation, she took a deep breath to calm herself as much as possible. It's not a secret either. The one in amber is pure demon emperor essence blood. The one in the jade box was found in a human's cave dwelling, dead for probably decades. Holding this jade box in his hands. And that piece of beast skin. Jiang Fan was amazed. No wonder the demon emperor essence blood in the jade box wasn't as potent as the one in amber. It turned out to have been stored for decades. That human martial artist must have ventured somewhere, obtaining a box of essence blood and the mysterious beast skin, but for some reason ended up dead in a cave dwelling within the demon race's territory. Understanding fully, he put both types of essence blood into the heavenly thunder stone. With that, their mission for this trip was considered complete. They only needed to return to the Boundary Mountain and hand over Concubine Yun Xia and the demon emperor essence blood. However, despite bringing Concubine Yun Xia back and eliminating the threat of demon emperor essence blood, the losses were immense. 7 elders and Fang Teiji, one of the top 5 human martial artists, had all perished. This blow to the human side was not to be underestimated. Jiang Fan himself had lost 2 nascent soul jade tokens. He had just received 3, and 2 were gone before they warmed his hands. It pained him greatly. What made him even more depressed was that he found nothing valuable after searching Concubine Yun Xia's body thoroughly. This trip was a tremendous loss for him. At this moment, Wu Manyu suddenly turned her head, cupped her fists to everyone. "The mission is successfully completed. Thank you all for your hard work. I plan to return to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and part ways with you." The Boundary Mountain was directly south, while Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion lay southeast. If Wu Manyu wanted to return to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, it was closest to cross this part of the demon race's territory. Returning to Boundary Mountain would require a longer detour. Jiang Fan was eager for Wu Manyu to leave quickly. The longer this woman stayed, the more he had to beware. "Safe journey, no escort needed," Jiang Fan waved impatiently. Wu Manyu glared at him. "Heartless guy. Why don't you return the opportunity for cultivation where the pavilion master is undergoing tribulation?" The reward for this mission for the disciples was to go to the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and gain this precious cultivation opportunity. The tribulation thunder that Jiang Fan lacked might be greatly replenished there. All right, thank you, Senior Sister Wu." Jiang Fan lazily cupped his hands in thanks. Wu Manyu snorted with her delicate nose. "Such insincere thanks are unnecessary." She glanced at the corpses of the 7 elders. A hint of sadness in her eyes, she said, "I am very ashamed to leave now for the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. While you still have to fight and kill on the battlefield, facing uncertain life and death. Saying goodbye today may be forever. Manyu has nothing to give in return, so I will distribute these life-saving items to you all. If any of you can survive with them, it will be my great merit." She took out a pouch hanging from her waist, opened it and placed it in front of everyone. "Each of you can pick one. It's Manyu's token of appreciation, don't be courteous." Everyone looked and exclaimed in surprise. "Magical treasures with spatial attributes? What's this?" There's also a space scroll. Jiang Fan even saw a life-saving jade figure inside that he had used before. That was a good treasure. He couldn't believe, "You're really giving these to us." Wu Manyu glanced at him and lifted her snow-white neck, snorting, "Except you. Heartless thing, everyone else can have one, but not you." Whoosh, Jiang Fan, quick as lightning, grabbed the jade figure and stuffed it into his clothes. Wu Manyu laughed angrily. "You shameless guy," Jiang Fan shamelessly said. "I am setting an example. Otherwise, everyone else would be too embarrassed to take anything." Indeed. With Jiang Fan leading, the others felt free to choose their treasures. Everyone marveled at the items in their hands. Spatial attribute treasures were extremely rare. Thinking about Wu Manyu being so generous, each person receiving one. Wu Manyu put the leftover items back in the pouch. Sighing with relief, she said, "Since everyone has chosen, Manyu will now take her leave." "See you later." She cupped her hands to everyone. Liang Feiyan showed a hint of apology, cupping his hands. "Safe travels, Senior Sister Wu. I had previous misunderstandings about you, please forgive me." Last time, Wu Manyu had used up her spatial magic treasure to send a message to Sunset City. Now she was giving them generous gifts. He couldn't help but see Wu Manyu in a new light. Wu Manyu looked at him, suddenly showing a strange smile. Junior brother Liang's words make me very pleased. However, you might be disappointed, senior brother. She smiled, her eyes narrowing, like a little fox who had succeeded in her cunning plan. Feiyin and Xia Cultivation, who were familiar with Wu Manyu, felt their hearts skip a beat. They immediately tried to throw away their space magical treasures. Clap as Wu Manyu snapped her fingers, a spatial fluctuation suddenly flashed across the surface of the space magical treasures in everyone's hands. In an instant, everyone was immobilized by the space. Liang Feiyin remained in the motion of throwing the space treasure. Xia Cultivation calmly held his sword to strike the space magical treasure. The others froze in states of shock or as they were reaching for their space magical treasures. They all became statues. Wu Manyu crossed her arms in front of her chest, laughing uncontrollably, causing a series of waves on her chest. Ha ha ha, did you really believe that I, Wu Manyu, would kindly give you these things? I find them insufficient for myself, so how could I have extra to give you? She strutted over to Liang Feiyin. She grabbed back the space magical treasure from his hand and stuffed it into her pocket. Then she took Xia Cultivation's and the others. Next, she approached Zhao Wuji and Qiu Shengnan. Facing their slightly angry frozen expressions, she smiled and said, I apologize, elders. I did not mean to play a trick on you. Without this, Jiang Fan, that little fox, would never be fooled. She smiled and took back their space magical treasures. Then she turned her head, sneering at Jiang Fan, and laughed heartily. Junior brother Jiang, you little rascal, little trickster, bastard, weren't you clever? She walked up. She pinched his handsome face, her eyes sparking with anger. Say something, weren't you always plotting against me? Why aren't you moving? Where's the dominance you showed in the sky-breaking canyon when you snatched my Beast King's demon core? Where is your cunning when you tricked me into diverting the demon moon priest and used me as a decoy? Where's the pride you had when you fooled me into opening the hidden space and took my jade people? Ha ha ha! I, Wu Manyu, have never suffered so much. Especially not from one person. Do you know how much I want to cut you into pieces? She gritted her teeth, her eyes spitting fire, venting a month's worth of resentment. For this revenge, I volunteered to accept this mission. I painstakingly invited you in. To lower your guard, I behaved properly and respectfully. All for this moment. Do you know how hard it was for me to endure? Ha ha ha, she felt happier than ever. Happier than discovering that ruin and obtaining countless treasures. A sense of triumph made her feel like soaring to the sky. Concubine Yun Xia was the only one who didn't receive a space magical treasure and was not tricked. Her eyes flickered. So you also have a grudge against this little rascal. Hand him over to me, I'll deal with him. Concubine Yun Xia's eyes also flared with anger. Wu Manyu giggled. Did you hear that, Jiang Fan? There are quite a few people who want to tear you to pieces. All right then, let Concubine Yun Xia do it. She swayed her hips over to Qiu Shengnan. After rummaging in her arms, she found the key to the dragon binding chain. Concubine Yun Xia's eyes lit up. Thank you. I will reward you handsomely afterward. She coldly glared at Jiang Fan, snorting. He who gains the Tao gains much help, while he who loses the Tao gains little help. Jiang Fan, you never thought your retribution would come so quickly, did you? She already pictured in her mind the scene of Jiang Fan being tortured and begging for mercy. Wu Manyu approached with the key. Just as Concubine Yun Xia eagerly reached out to take it, Wu Manyu opened Jiang Fan's pants and threw the key in. Concubine Yun Xia froze, frowning and glaring at Wu Manyu. What do you mean? Wu Manyu smirked, giving you a chance for revenge. Jiang Fan touched you so you can touch him back. He. Concubine Yun Xia realized she had been tricked, angrily saying, You're insane. Wu Manyu's smile vanished, her face turning icy. She clenched her fingers into claws, grabbing Concubine Yun Xia's throat and coldly said, Who do you think you are? Do you dare to steal a man I, Wu Manyu, want to play with? Get lost. She threw Concubine Yun Xia off the demon wolf. Then she squatted in front of Jiang Fan with a smile. She leisurely reached into Jiang Fan's chest and took back the jade people. Tusk, my things are not easy to take. She then pulled out a jade box. It was covered in seals, undoubtedly the last nascent soul jade token. She smiled brilliantly. I originally wanted to take all 3 of your nascent soul jade tokens. Unfortunately, only one is left. I will gladly take it. Then she continued to search his chest with a smirk, her eyes full of teasing. You little rascal, you have quite a fortunate fate. After touching Concubine Yun Xia, now your senior sister gropes you. You took all the good luck in the world. As she searched, She soon found the heavenly thunder stone, her smile growing wider. Ha ha ha, this is your space storage device, isn't it? An innate space storage device that doesn't need a spell to open. Ha ha ha, I'll take it all. The good things on Jiang Fan were no less than Wu Manyu's. Discovering this, Wu Manyu was overjoyed, but she still didn't want to stop. Her white jade hand moved down from his chest. Suddenly, she felt something warm and furry. She paused. What is this? She grabbed the fur, trying to pull it out. But suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her fingers as something bit her. She quickly pulled her hand back, retreating in a hurry. How could this be? The spatial fluctuation around Jiang Fan had sealed him and the surroundings. How could there be a living creature in his chest unaffected and biting her? She looked down at her finger. Her forefinger was bitten, blood flowing non-stop. If it had bitten harder, she would have lost her finger. She was both shocked and angry, drawing her sword to force it out and see what it was. But at that moment, Qiu Shengnan and Zhao Wuji started to move. They were breaking free from the spatial confinement. Wu Manyu's face changed. The spatial immobilization was ending. If she didn't leave now, she couldn't leave. She reluctantly sheathed her sword, glaring venomously at Jiang Fan. You brat, I wanted to play with you longer. This time you're lucky. She immediately took out a spirit boat from her space storage device. She jumped on it and sped away. The others also broke free from the spatial immobilization. While immobilized, they could not move their bodies, but their minds were unaffected, so they were aware of everything happening outside. Qiu Shengnan jumped up in a fury, shouting, You impudent brat! Zhao Wuji also broke free, drawing his sword and jumping off the demon wolf to chase her, shouting, Brat, stop right there! Xia Caoj and the others broke free. They looked irritated. They didn't care about the space magical treasures, but being tricked this way enraged them. The last to break free was Jiang Fan. Seeing Jiang Fan stand up, Wu Manyu, while piloting the spirit boat away, waved the space jade token in her hand and laughed. Junior brother Jiang, I'm keeping the jade token. Senior sister will always love you. Moi, from 100 yards away, she blew Jiang Fan a kiss. Shameless brat, Qiu Shengnan fumed. An elder like her had been played by a youngster. She was about to give chase. But she heard Jiang Fan behind her, chuckling, I don't allow you to speak ill of my female bodhisattva. Everyone turned to look. They saw Jiang Fan holding a bag. It was the small cloth bag tied to Wu Manyu's waist, filled with space magical treasures. Wu Manyu also recognized her own pouch from afar. She touched her waist in shock and exclaimed, When did this happen? Impossible. He was frozen in place. How could he have stolen my things? Could it be that I dropped it? At this thought, her face turned extremely grim. Most of her space magic treasures were inside. All were picked up by Jiang Fan. Senior sister Wu, you dropped your things. Come back, I'll return them to you. Jiang Fan shouted from afar. Wu Manyu gritted her teeth. Keep them. Anyway, I've gained a lot. She shook the nascent soul jade token in her hand. Just this one piece was enough to offset most of her losses. Moreover, she had taken Jiang Fan's space storage device, the heavenly thunder stone. The valuable items inside made her eyes gleam with greed. That purple sword, the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, the demon emperor essence blood, the revitalizing pill, the replenishing spirit pill, and so on. She couldn't imagine how many more peerless treasures Jiang Fan had. Junior brother Jiang, until we meet again, ha ha ha. She dared not delay. She maneuvered the spirit boat and sped away. After a full hour, she finally managed to shake off the pursuit of Qiu Shengnan and Zhao Wuji. Only then did she find time to tally her gains from this trip. Hee, Jiang Fan must be hopping mad now, right? Taking out the nascent soul jade token, Wu Manyu's eyes sparkled. Oh my. With the nascent soul jade token, I can go to that place again. She couldn't wait to tear off the seal. She wanted to see the true appearance of the nascent soul jade token. As the seal was torn open, she excitedly opened the jade box, but what was inside left her stunned. There was no jade token in the box. Only a note with Jiang Fan's crooked writing in demon race script. I knew you were after the nascent soul jade token. Enjoy your empty celebration. Wu Manyu couldn't believe her eyes. She pulled out the note and looked at it again and again, her body trembling, her lips quivering. She trembled from anger. When did he start guarding against me? And switch the nascent soul jade token in advance? Impossible, this can't be. She couldn't accept that she had been tricked by Jiang Fan once again. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she hurriedly touched her chest. Right, the heavenly thunder stone space. Even if it was switched, he must have kept the real nascent soul jade token in the space storage device. I have the heavenly thunder stone space, so the thing is still in my hands, isn't it? At this thought, She laughed again. Jiang Fan, you could never have predicted that I would take your heavenly thunder stone space too, right? However, her face quickly stiffened, because her chest was empty. No, where did the heavenly thunder stone go? I distinctly hid it deep in my chest. She fumbled again and again, but it was always empty. Thinking back to that little pouch of hers, inexplicably ending up in Jiang Fan's hands. She gasped. Could it be Jiang Fan was never frozen by the space magic? He was pretending all along, if the little pouch was accidentally dropped. Could the heavenly thunder stone, hidden deep in her chest, also have been dropped? Looking again at the note in the jade box, bang! Wu Manyu staggered and plopped down into the spirit boat. She had been tricked again. She had been cruelly tricked. Time and again she had been tricked and suffered great losses. This time she thought she had won, thought she had turned the tables, but it was her worst tricking yet. Jiang Fan, Jiang Fan, Jiang Fan. She beat her hands against the side of the boat, shouting up at the sky in despair. Puff, uncontrollable anger caused her blood to surge. Finally triggering an internal injury, she spat out a mouthful of blood missed on the spot. She then rolled her eyes and fell unconscious in the spirit boat. On the other side, the little Qilin in Jiang Fan's arms wiggled its backside. It found a more comfortable position and continued to sleep, clutching the heavenly thunder stone in its little paw. Jiang Fan smiled faintly, opened the small pouch and said, "The female bodhisattva left us a bag full of space storage devices. Everyone, help yourselves, take one each. Don't waste her kind intentions." Having dealt with Wu Manyu this many times, Jiang Fan knew she was up to something the moment she twitched her backside. This time inviting Jiang Fan to carry out the mission. The goal was very clear. The nascent soul jade token, so he had been cautious from the beginning. And her earnest act of leaving everyone gifts, Jiang Fan couldn't help but roll his eyes in secret. While Wu Manyu didn't get involved in major issues, it didn't mean she had changed her selfish nature. Sharing her space treasure with others, that wasn't Wu Manyu's style at all. So he secretly woke up the little Qilin and asked it to be on alert. The result was as expected. That woman had a belly full of bad ideas. The little Qilin seized the opportunity while she leaped off the demon wolf, timing it well to retrieve the heavenly thunder stone. And it took back the small pouch from her waist using its space power. Everyone was overjoyed. Qiu Shengnan grinned as she retrieved the space magic treasure she selected earlier. Wu Manyu is truly a filial child. Zhao Wuji shamelessly took back his earlier chosen item with a dry cough. Jiang Fan is right. I can't waste her good intentions. Xia KO'd, and the others also took back their space treasures with smiles, showering praise on Wu Manyu, each calling her good senior sister, reborn female bodhisattva, heavenly mechanism pavilion's most benevolent. Jiang Fan also smiled and pocketed the remaining space magic treasures. With these, not only did he have more means to safeguard his life, but they were also quite diverse. Senior sister Wu truly is my lucky star, always has to give me something every time she comes around. And each time it's more than the last. Having lost 2 nascent soul jade tokens, Jiang Fan managed to gain a bit back at least. He was already looking forward to working with Wu Manyu again. Junior brother Jiang, come over. Liang Feiyin slipped off the demon wolf and said mysteriously. Everyone heard and gave the two a look, pretending not to notice. Jiang Fan's mouth twitched. Wasn't it just this small on the demon wolf's back? Could there even be secrets? He leaped down and asked, "What's the matter?" Liang Feiyin quickly pulled out a scroll from her sleeve and shoved it into Jiang Fan's hand. "I wanted to secretly give this to you, but there hasn't been a chance. Take your time with it." Jiang Fan peeked at the scroll's corner, catching a glimpse of a line of words, and his pupils shrank. Sword Control Technique, Volume II. Back at Skybreaking Canyon, Liang Feiyin had promised to find an opportunity to transcribe Sword Control Technique, Volume II for Jiang Fan. Because he couldn't remember it perfectly, he needed the elders in the sect who had read the volume to help correct it. This time, many myriad sword sect elders came to Boundary Mountain. She spent several days perfecting the transcription word for word. "Thank you so much, senior brother Liang. This is exactly what I need." Jiang Fan was overjoyed. The power of volume I was no longer enough to deal with increasingly powerful enemies. He had long been waiting for Volume II. "Come on, let's hurry down the road." He was eager to read Sword Control Technique, Volume II. Suddenly, he noticed Concubine Yun Xia still lying in the snow pile. Poor woman, her limbs bound, lying immobile in the snow. In the span of an hour, her skin had turned red from the cold. "Almost forgot about you." Jiang Fan picked her up and threw her onto the demon wolf's back. He was about to jump onto the demon wolf and leave when he sensed something amiss and squinted his eyes. "Concubine Yun Xia, haven't you been a bit too quiet? Falling into the snow and not making a sound for so long. You're not planning something, are you?" Caught by Jiang Fan. Concubine Yun Xia's eyes flickered in panic. Angry, she shouted, "Why don't you just die?" She had failed to deceive Jiang Fan again. It was simply unfair. Jiang Fan glanced over, his gaze stopping at the spot where Concubine Yun Xia had lain in the snow. A hint of a smile appeared in his eyes, chunny only to see an outline of a human body in a snow pit. Concubine Yun Xia used the residual blood on her body to silently write a few words in the language of the demon race. "Direction of Boundary Mountain, hurry and rescue me. Yun Xia." Jiang Fan did not say a word. He swiftly erased the words with his foot, making them unrecognizable. Then he swept a layer of snow over them, covering the message. He quickly jumped onto the demon wolf's back, his voice slightly urgent. "Quick, leave immediately. There are reinforcements for Concubine Yun Xia nearby, and they are very strong." Concubine Yun Xia knew that their group was not weak, yet she still dared to leave a message for reinforcements. It was clear that she had assessed that the reinforcement's strength was higher than theirs. This was not good news at all. They needed to get back to Boundary Mountain quickly. Everyone's expressions turned serious, one person steering the demon wolf, the others on guard. Jiang Fan, meanwhile, held the second volume of the sword control technique, delving into it, unbeknownst to them, as they moved farther away. The blood-written words that Jiang Fan had erased reformed themselves miraculously. They emitted waves of blood-colored ripples, spreading toward the distance continuously. Half a day later, still, no pursuers were detected. Moreover, they were not far from Boundary Mountain, which made everyone slightly relax. After half a day of comprehension, Jiang Fan finally fully understood the second volume. Incredible, once the second volume is mastered, sword flight can actually be achieved. This is something only those in the nascent soul realm can do. He felt a thrill of joy in his heart. The first volume trains the sword heart, guiding the sword with the mind. Where the heart points, the sword follows. The second volume trains the sword body, transforming the body into a sword, every glance point, and word can become sword chi. When the sword heart and sword body unite, commanding the sword to soar across the sky, there is nothing that can stand in its way. Even Senior Su Qingyang seemed not to have mastered the sword body. Jiang Fan remembered that when Su Qingyang chased the silver-winged thunderbird, he was running on the ground. He did not use sword flight. The reason was likely due to a stringent requirement in the second volume for cultivators. Sword chi body refinement. The so-called sword chi body refinement involves tempering the physique with the powerful sword chi within the sword to cultivate the sword body. Ordinary sword chi is insufficient for the cultivation requirements. Only the chi within swords of the spiritual artifact level can be useful. The one who created this swordsmanship, do they have a brain problem? Even with the necessary cultivation conditions, Jiang Fan could not help but complain. Who below the nascent soul realm is qualified to possess a sword of the spiritual artifact level? How precious are spiritual artifacts? Even an evil spirit in the nascent soul realm perished for a low-grade spiritual artifact like the ancient heart mirror. And those above the nascent soul realm can already cross the sky on their own. Why would they need to practice sword flight? I bet Senior Su Qingyang also had some harsh words for the creator of this swordsmanship. This sword flight that core formation cultivators can't train and nascent soul cultivators don't bother with is truly useless. Jiang Fan was both amused and exasperated. Fortunately, he met the cultivation requirements for this sword technique. He wondered what a stunning sight it would be when he finally used sword flight. He was about to take out the purple sword to borrow its sword chi for body refinement. But at that moment, the demon wolf suddenly shivered, causing a bump. Jiang Fan's brow furrowed. "What's going on?" The golden claw iron wolf looked around in fear, howling. "Brother, on the other side, we are on the same side. Be careful where you strike." Swoosh, Jiang Fan stood up at once, his face changing dramatically. "Watch out! Something is coming." The golden claw iron wolf was at the 6th level of core formation. Something that could make it feel scared could not be anything benign. Scanning around, all he saw was endless whiteness, with no sign of anything approaching. But Jiang Fan also gradually felt a lurking danger approaching him. His eyes flickered. Without hesitation, he tightened the dragon binding chain in his hand. The chain locked around Concubine Yun Xia's neck suddenly tightened, choking her tightly. Concubine Yun Xia showed a look of pain. Her eyes scanned around hopefully. Her reinforcements had arrived. Jiang Fan coldly surveyed the surroundings, the forewarning in his heart growing stronger, yet he could not detect the enemy. He yanked the chain tighter, shouting, "Show yourself, or I'll strangle her!" Crash, a strange scene unfolded. The ice several hundred feet away suddenly shattered. A green, towering tree broke through the ice, emerging with a roar from the ground. In a moment, a 20-foot-tall ancient tree with lush green foliage appeared vibrantly in the snowy land. On one branch sat a girl with bare legs, wearing a green dress. She looked sweet and lovely, her hair jet black. Her big, lively eyes were full of spirit. She indeed had the charm of a neighborly little sister. However, no one would think she was just a girl. Qiu Shengnan took one look and was shocked to the core, exclaiming, "One of the 4 great demon kings? Chunny? What?" Xia Keoj and the others were shaken to their core. Each of the 4 great demon kings was of perfect level of 9th layer of core formation. Fang Teiji was formidable enough, right? But even he might not win against the 4 great demon kings. The girl before them was actually a terrifying demon king. She leaned on the tree. Seeing Concubine Yun Xia bound, her heart ached and she clutched her chest. "Your Highness, are you hurt?" Then she turned to the others with a pleading look. "Her Highness is fine, yet you villains treat her this way. Let her go immediately and I'll let you leave. Otherwise, I won't forgive you." Tears filled her eyes, her delicate body and choked voice evoked pity. Qiu Shengnan and Zhao Wuji exchanged a glance. They could not help but feel as if they were the villains. After exchanging opinions, they said, "Jiang Fan, should we negotiate with her? A demon king is not someone we can handle." In other words, they should release Concubine Yun Xia to save their own lives. "Don't be deceived," Jiang Fan warned. "She is a demon king." He was not fooled by the appearance of the girl before him, to grow into a demon king in the brutal demon race. None of them were easy to deal with. All of them had risen through bloody competition. Demon King Chunny's harmless and weak appearance was not a weakness but likely her weapon. If anyone was deceived by her appearance, the outcome would be tragic. "Stop pretending. Back off immediately, do not follow and make no moves. If you do, we will die and take Concubine Yun Xia with us." Jiang Fan pulled Concubine Yun Xia in front of him, tightening the grip around her neck. Concubine Yun Xia's face flushed red from lack of air. Demon King Chunny anxiously stomped her foot, tearfully pleading, "All right, I'll back off, I'll back off. Please don't hurt Her Highness." "Boo-hoo." She wiped her tears, controlling the tree to move back. Concubine Yun Xia turned her head and gave Jiang Fan a deep look, decisively saying, "Chunny, leave me. Kill them. Even if I am taken back to Boundary Mountain, I won't escape death. I might as well die now and take them with me." Damn it. Jiang Fan quickly covered her mouth. But it was too late. Just moments ago, Chunny, who was tearful, suddenly changed her expression. She wiped away her tears. The corners of her mouth turned up, her eyes lowered, her features twisted. In an instant, her face became terrifyingly sinister. Her eyes revealed a psychopathic madness. "With those words from Her Highness, I am reassured. Then let me invite you to die together." Bang, 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 the earth suddenly ruptured. Dozens of thick black-brown tree roots tore through the ice, smashing viciously toward them. Jiang Fan's pupils constricted sharply. It was a 9th layer of core formation perfection attack, a force comparable to Fang Teiji. How could they possibly withstand it head-on? Would she really dare kill you, an imperial concubine? Jiang Fan tightened his grip around Concubine Yun Xia's neck. He found it hard to believe. After all, Concubine Yun Xia was the most favored and trusted among the Demon Emperor's 36 concubines. Would Chun Nai, a subordinate demon king, dare kill a concubine? Was she not afraid of punishment from the Demon Emperor? Concubine Yun Xia simply gazed deeply at Jiang Fan with a calm look, as if quietly awaiting death. She offered no further explanation. The Golden Claw Iron Wolf, however, bolted instantly, shrieking, "Oh my God, who let this lunatic out?" Once she receives a battle order, she enters a frenzied killing state. Never mind a Demon Emperor concubine, she'd kill even the Demon Emperor himself without hesitation. The Golden Claw Iron Wolf ran like mad, scalp prickling with fear. The 4 great demon kings, while awe-inspiring, were usually reasonable. Most of them could coexist peacefully as long as they weren't provoked. But Chun Nai Demon King, who had been confined within the demon race's territory for years and was forbidden from leaving, was an exception. She was a lunatic with a double personality. In her normal state, she was a pitiful pushover that even stray dogs would bully. However, as soon as she felt threatened or received a killing order, a slaughtering personality would awaken within her. Unless absolutely necessary, the demon race would never send her out. They feared she might cause uncontrollable chaos. Upon hearing this, the faces of those riding the demon wolf changed. Zhao Wuji decisively commanded, "Scatter! Run!" Staying on the demon wolf's back risked being wiped out entirely. If they scattered, even if Chun Nai Demon King had 3 heads and 6 arms, she wouldn't be able to chase down and kill every single one of them. At least a few would survive. Swoosh! The group transformed into flickering shadows, darting in all directions. Jiang Fan gritted his teeth and held tightly onto Concubine Yun Xia, looking on as the terrifying roots whipped toward him, showing no sign of slowing down because of Yun Xia's presence. He finally believed the Golden Claw Iron Wolf's assessment. Without hesitation, he activated Cloud Shadow, vanishing 100 feet away in an instantaneous movement. Boom! The roots smashed into the ground, shattering the ice and forming a melted trench over 10 feet wide. Rising steam distorted and blurred Chun Nai Demon King's approaching figure. Jiang Fan gasped sharply. If that blow had landed, Concubine Yun Xia's body would have been pulverized into a paste, wouldn't it? This lunatic truly didn't care about Yun Xia's survival. Bang, 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 more roots surged like frenzied dragons beneath the ground, blasting away sheets of ice several feet high along their path. They needed to escape quickly. Concubine Yun Xia not only couldn't save them, but was becoming a liability. With that thought, thunder light sparked in his palm. He raised his hand, aiming a sharp blow directly at her forehead. Concubine Yun Xia quietly sighed, closing her beautiful eyes in resignation, already mentally prepared. She was a demon emperor concubine. Now, without any value left to exploit, the human clan would never let her live. Killing her was perfectly logical. However, the expected pain did not arrive. Instead, Jiang Fan tossed her onto the snowfield. Huh! Concubine Yun Xia opened her eyes, surprise flickering in them. "You're not killing me?" Jiang Fan cast her a cold, fleeting glance. Turning away, he invoked his movement technique and fled toward the distance without ever looking back, saying, "Repaying my master uncle's life-saving grace, consider your life spared. If I capture you again, I'll kill you for sure." The mission objective was to destroy the demon emperor's essence blood. Capturing Concubine Yun Xia had been an unexpected bonus. Letting her go wouldn't violate the mission. Swish! Jiang Fan sprinted across the pristine snow, vanishing swiftly. Concubine Yun Xia sat up, staring after Jiang Fan's retreating figure, a trace of surprise on her face. From the decisiveness and ruthlessness Jiang Fan had shown all the way here, he should have killed her to eliminate future threats. And yet he spared her, hearing the deafening booms raging behind her, growing stronger as though intent on claiming her life. She didn't look back and simply commanded, "Stop!" The ferocious Chun Nai Demon King abruptly shuddered as if struck by a jolt. Soon her facial expression returned to normal. Seeing Concubine Yun Xia sitting in the snow, Chun Nai hurried over coquettishly, helping her to her feet. She noticed the chains binding Yun Xia, especially the coarse ones cutting into Yun Xia's alabaster neck, leaving abrasions. Tears filled Chun Nai's eyes as she said emotionally, "Concubine Yun Xia, you're hurt." Standing on tiptoe, Chun Nai blew gently on Yun Xia's neck. A surge of rich vitality enveloped the wound, miraculously healing it without leaving a single mark. Concubine Yun Xia patted Chun Nai Demon King's head gently. "Thank you." The Golden Claw Iron Wolf stared, dumbfounded, its eyes wide as saucers. "Concubine Yun Xia, you can control Chun Nai Demon King's personality." Once Chun Nai Demon King activated her slaughtering personality, not even the Demon Emperor could awaken her. Only after killing tirelessly and collapsing from exhaustion would she revert to her quiet personality. The Demon Emperor had tried countless measures to resolve this. Even ancient techniques of the demon race had failed to provide a solution. Yet shockingly, all Concubine Yun Xia needed was a single command to restore Chun Nai's calm persona. "Does the Demon Emperor know about this?" The Golden Claw Iron Wolf blurted out instinctively. In response, it was met with Concubine Yun Xia's icy glare. The Golden Claw Iron Wolf immediately realized its foolishness. The Demon Emperor clearly didn't know. Concubine Yun Xia had hidden this secret from him. This amounted to betrayal of the Demon Emperor. And now the Golden Claw Iron Wolf had stumbled upon this secret. Gulp! The Golden Claw Iron Wolf swallowed hard, retreating cautiously and trembling as it stammered, "Concubine Yun Xia, I'll keep your secret safe." "I swear to heaven I won't breathe a word." Concubine Yun Xia's gaze flickered between emotions. Ultimately, it transformed into a helpless sigh. That bastard was right. The Royal Guard Corps selection criteria should include an IQ test. It was precisely because the Iron Claw Demon Wolf was a bit dim-witted. Concubine Yun Xia decided to spare its life. If it were smarter, it might threaten her safety. In that case, it'd already be dead. Concubine Yun Xia, who's the bastard that hurt you like this? I'll avenge you. Chun-Nai Demon King tugged at the chains, trying to snap them apart. But even with her Demon King's strength, the chains didn't budge. Concubine Yun Xia gazed in Jiang Fan's direction, biting her silver teeth, letting out a long, icy laugh. Ha 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 ha, Jiang Fan, you better run fast, don't let me catch you. Chun-Nai Demon King paused, staring at Concubine Yun Xia in bewilderment. This wasn't the gentle, quiet Yun Xia she knew, the one kind even to villains. What had she turned into? Chase him, don't chase too hard. Give him some hope just to crush it in the end. Concubine Yun Xia laughed coldly. I want to toy with him slowly. The golden claw iron wolf stood gaping. Jiang Fan, that poor soul, what had he done to Concubine Yun Xia? A gentle, beautiful concubine had been twisted into a vengeful woman. Fan, he continuously used his movement technique, leaping dozens of yards with each step across the vast snowfield. Fortunately, unlike the area near the boundary mountain, the snowfield stretched endlessly and one could be spotted as far as the horizon. Here there were many undulating ice mountains. This obstructed the line of sight. After not too long, his trail was blocked by the ice mountains. However, Jiang Fan did not dare to relax in the slightest. His pursuer was a Demon King at the 9th level of core formation perfection, and a crazy Demon King at that. The only thing that could deal with her was the last nascent soul jade token in his hand. Using it on her would be a waste. The key was, besides Demon King Chun-Nai, there was also Fairy Yun Xia who was quickly recovering her Yuan energy. Regretting it now, aren't you? I told you to kill that woman earlier. The Black Mirror evil spirit in his arms spoke with schadenfreude. Jiang Fan said, she won't necessarily catch up to me. While using his movement technique, he put on the turtle breath cloak. Although it was difficult to achieve perfect invisibility due to the blood scent of the demon race on him, it still reduced the chances of being locked onto from a distance, increasing his hope of escape. Trying to escape from someone at the 9th level of core formation perfection, I think it's doubtful. The Black Mirror evil spirit chuckled. The 9th level of core formation perfection is the most unpredictable realm for a martial artist's true strength. Some at the 9th level of core formation perfection are just that, nothing more. But some far exceed the definition of the 9th level of core formation perfection. Jiang Fan frowned deeply. From Fang Teiji's attack, he had felt this problem. Fang Teiji at the 9th level of core formation perfection was far stronger than the 9th level of core formation. The difference was only half a level, but the gap in strength was as vast as the heavens and the abyss. He had encountered the 9th level of core formation more than once. There was Leng Gu before, and Demon Moon recently, but neither could intimidate like Fang Teiji, making people retreat just by glaring. With a casual wave, snuffing out the life of a 7th level core formation expert. He had no doubt that if these two met Fang Teiji, the outcome would not be much better than the dead elders of the 7 sects. That's because there are too many experts stuck at the 9th level of core formation perfection, unable to break through to the nascent soul realm. Those who just broke through to the 9th level of core formation perfection, and those stuck there for years or even decades, cannot be compared in strength. The latter may not have broken through in realm, but in other aspects they have long been cultivated thoroughly. Jiang Fan realized. That made sense. Rather than saying the 9th level of core formation perfection is a realm, it would be more appropriate to call it a reservoir. Both new and old 9th level core formation perfection cultivators were within it. Those who had cultivated for countless years at the 9th level of core formation perfection were like deep-water monsters, unfathomable. In contrast, from the 1st to the 9th level of core formation, with enough spiritual power, one would naturally advance. Their strength could be roughly estimated based on their levels. Of course, abnormal individuals like Jiang Fan, who could defeat stronger opponents and battle across 2 or 3 levels, were exceptions. These two, one is a demon body cultivated from wood spirit. Her cultivation likely spans longer than mine, her strength unfathomable. The other is the demon Emperor Concubine, a member of the Silver Fox clan with strong innate divine abilities, and having survived the tribulation, she's probably no weaker than Demon King Chun-Nai. These two, within the 9th level of core formation perfection, are definitely among the top, far surpassing Fang Teiji. Are you sure you can escape? Why don't you hang me in a conspicuous place, let someone else find me? Jiang Fan listened with a deep frown. He couldn't estimate Demon King Chun-Nai's strength. But Fairy Yunxia had intimidated Fang Teiji into surrender, willing to kill his own people just to join her. Escaping from them was far more difficult than being pursued by Demon Moon. It would be great if I had mastered sword flight, Jiang Fan thought, frowning secretly, if he had such a divine skill. Except for those in the nascent soul realm, or 9th level of core formation perfection experts who could fly, almost no one could do anything to him. He wouldn't fear the pursuit of Fairy Yunxia and Demon King Chun Nai either. Bang, 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 suddenly. The sound of ice layers cracking came from a distance, getting closer. Jiang Fan's heart skipped a beat. The pursuers had caught up. So soon? It seemed unrealistic to escape just by using his movement technique. If this continued, it wouldn't take long to get caught. Turning his thoughts over and over. Moments later, he gritted his teeth, veering off from the path to Boundary Mountain, heading southwest. With each landing, he would lift off again. Turning back, he waved his sleeve, stirring up a gust of wind, sweeping the ice and snow to cover his footprints. Then he continued on his way without leaving any footprints. Soon, the ice layer exploded. A towering ancient tree emerged from the ground. Demon King Chun Nai and Fairy Yunxia stood on the tree. There are no more footprints. Demon King Chun Nai put her little hands on her forehead, stood on tiptoe, and looked around. The ground was a vast expanse of white. The footprints stopped abruptly in front of them. It seemed as though the person had disappeared into thin air. Fairy Yunxia chuckled. He just hid his footprints. A trivial trick. Her pupils faintly glimmered with a touch of silver light. From her perspective, which seemed a vast expanse of white ice, some buried, broken footprints appeared. This was an innate hunting talent of the Silver Fox clan. They could see through some shallowly hidden caves. She looked southwest with a smile. Catching you like this wouldn't be very interesting. Soon, they followed the hidden footprints for a while and found something unusual. A huge demon beast lay on the ground. Blood splattered all over and there were signs of a fight around, looking at the footprints extending deeper southwest. Fairy Yunxia snorted. The southwest is heavily guarded by demon forces. The further you go, the more demon beasts you'll encounter. I want to see how far you can run. She chased the faint footprints ahead. Moments later, she arrived in front of a bottomless gorge. The last footprints were at the edge of the gorge. Following the trail, the opponent had undoubtedly entered the gorge. Hee, the chase is almost over. Fairy Yunxia eagerly anticipated Jiang Fan's look of shock when he was discovered. After all, he had been so careful in hiding his tracks all the way, yet he was still tracked down. He would surely be surprised, incredulous, and unwilling, right? Thinking of that scene, her mood became urgent. However, just as she was about to descend, she suddenly frowned. Wait. Something's not right. Demon King Chun Nai blinked curiously. What's not right? Fairy Yunxia, you're so amazing, even discovering his finely concealed footprints. Can he still escape? Fairy Yunxia frowned. Would someone as cautious as Jiang Fan let me catch up so easily? Although they hadn't interacted much. Jiang Fan's vigilance was stronger than some old monsters. Catching up so easily made her feel uneasy. Suddenly, she remembered something, slapped her thigh, and said angrily, "We've been duped. Quick, hurry back to the demon beast's corpse. There's something wrong with the demon beast's corpse." She finally realized what was wrong. No footprints. No footprints from the demon beast's body. A demon beast so large should leave deep, massive footprints with every step. But along the entire way, there were no footprints from a single demon beast. What did this mean? It meant that the demon beast's body was taken out of a space storage device, and the footprints ahead were very likely intentionally left there by Jiang Fan to lead her here, to trick her into coming into this canyon and wasting time. This canyon was bottomless, and it would take at least half a day to search it thoroughly. And in that time, Jiang Fan could comfortably return to Boundary Mountain and take a good nap. Bastard! Realizing she had been tricked, Concubine Yun Xia's eyes filled with fury. Quickly, we must go back. Hopefully, it's not too late. At that moment, the massive demon beast's body suddenly exploded from the belly. Jiang Fan poked his head out from inside the body. He glanced at the huge, destructive footprints left by the Demon King Chun Nai, heading in the direction he had lured her. He felt slightly relieved and smiled. I didn't expect that a few complete demon beast carcasses left casually in the sky-breaking canyon would be of such great use. The Black Mirror evil spirit in his arms clicked its tongue in wonder. Damn, you really are a genius. You actually managed to fool those 2 9th-layer perfection beings. By hiding your footprints, you made them think they had locked onto you, focusing their attention on your hidden tracks. Neglecting other suspicious traces, right? Jiang Fan did not deny it and said, Exactly as you said, they are both top-tier beings of the ninth layer perfection. A small trick of hiding footprints wouldn't fool them, so I did the opposite, making them believe they had found me. If nothing goes wrong, they should be investigating the canyon now. Even if they realize eventually, it doesn't matter. Jiang Fan smiled cheerfully and took out Wu Manyu's small bag. Though much had been distributed, there was still plenty left. He took out a space scroll with a half-smile and said, "Next, I don't even know where I will be teleported to. Even if they come here, how could they guess my position?" The greatest use of a space scroll was for escaping. It could teleport someone 100 miles away in an instant. No matter how powerful Concubine Yun Xia and Demon King Chun Nai were, they wouldn't be able to sense Jiang Fan 100 miles away, would they? The only downside is that the space scroll's teleportation direction is not fixed. Jiang Fan frowned and said, "Any other direction is fine, as long as it's not to the northern demon race territory." The Black Mirror evil spirit clicked its tongue. "You have quite the fortune. Hurry up and use it. As long as you're not too unlucky, you shouldn't end up in the north." Jiang Fan nodded. He decisively unfolded the scroll. Whoosh, a surge of space power enveloped Jiang Fan, and then with a swish, transformed him into a beam of white light disappearing from the spot. A cup of tea's time later, the ground rumbled. Concubine Yun Xia and Demon King Chun Nai hurriedly arrived. Concubine Yun Xia immediately saw the demon beast's belly blown open, with blood-stained footprints leading from inside to the snow outside. "He hid inside the demon beast's body," Concubine Yun Xia said angrily, "and look, this demon beast has obviously been dead for some time. The blood isn't fresh. I was attracted by the footprints he created earlier. I didn't even pay attention." Realizing she was completely fooled, Concubine Yun Xia clenched her fists tightly. She immediately used her pupil's skill again to search for Jiang Fan's traces. However, everywhere was covered in white snow. No traces whatsoever, not a single hint of his presence left. There was nowhere to look even if she wanted to. "Damn it!" Concubine Yun Xia punched a tree trunk. Her punch caused the ancient tree to tremble profoundly. Demon King Chun Nai shrank her neck. It was the first time she had seen Concubine Yun Xia so furious after all these years. "Shall we continue to chase?" she cautiously asked. Concubine Yun Xia said furiously, "With no traces, where do we find him? That bastard must have used that space treasure of Wu Manyu's to escape without a trace." Had Jiang Fan used it earlier, when they were not far apart, she could still use the tracking technique to capture the direction of the space fluctuation. But Jiang Fan must have realized this and held back, until he fooled them and gained distance. Then he used it. Now the residual space fluctuation had long disappeared without a trace. She had no way to determine the direction. Demon King Chun Nai weakly said, "So do we just give up?" "Give up? What else can we do?" Concubine Yun Xia was extremely unwilling, feeling suffocated with pent-up anger. It made her heart uneasy. She couldn't either spit it out or swallow it. She felt very uncomfortable. "I must find something else to divert my attention." She knew that if it continued like this, she would develop heart demons affecting her training. "Let's go to the Southwest military camp and find the War King with the keen talent to unlock these chains on me first." Concubine Yun Xia looked at the unbreakable chains on her body, silently urging herself to swallow this loss. Demon King Chun Nai nodded, immediately controlled the large tree, speeding towards the Southwest military camp. Previously, demon beast armies had gathered in both the south and southwest. The southwest was guarded by the sky-devouring tiger and demon emperor's daughter Liu Li. Liu Li reportedly suffered a huge loss and was forced to retreat to the heart of the demon race territory. The Southwest Army then moved to the southern front line, setting up camps and awaiting orders. Currently, this army was guarded by a demon general. There were over 500 core formation beast kings under his command. It was quite a formidable force. Southwest. This place had a complex terrain. Big and small ice caves could be seen everywhere, connected like an underground honeycomb. A War King demon beast with strength at the 6th level of core formation was training a group of 20 to 30 ape-like demon beasts. The defeat of the demon moon priest should teach us a lesson, especially the ice slope environment on the Boundary Mountain slope, which caused unexpected trouble for the Dead Spirit Army's assault. So, in the upcoming decisive battle, our primary task is to deal with the ice slope. Lord Ghostface Demon General proposed a battle plan. That is to have those with great arm strength throw a large number of rigid ice spikes into the slope. This way, when our troops climb, they can step on them, reducing the enemy's ability to use rolling logs and other things to cause widespread damage. Now, let me demonstrate. This war king was a powerful lizard. With muscles bulging all over its body, it lifted a 10-jang-long sculpted ice spike, aiming at a hillside several hundred jang away. Let's imagine that's the boundary mountain. We need to drive the ice spike into it like this. Ha! With a shout, it unleashed an immense physical strength. The ice spike, taller than its body, pierced rapidly towards the slope. Because of the speed, it even pressured the atmosphere, creating a whistling, wind-breaking sound. The ape-like demon beasts looked on with awe. Such arm strength was rare even within the Southwest Army. Other than Lord Ghost-faced Demon General, almost no one dared to say they could achieve such power. Their eyes followed the ice spike. Just as the ice spike was about to pierce the slope, suddenly, there was a flash of white light. A young man with skin as white as cold jade, handsome and extraordinary in black clothes, appeared out of nowhere. The visitor was Jiang Fan. He had been teleported here by the space scroll. Still a bit dazed, he felt a harsh wind coming at him. Looking closely, it was a giant ice spike. Without thinking, he immediately punched out. Domineering tiger body, with the tiger roar shaking inside him. His fist burst forth with an unmatched power. Boom! The ice spike was shattered by the punch, exploding into a shower of ice fragments. This scene made the ape-like demon beasts freeze in shock. How did someone suddenly appear? And he actually withstood an attack from the lizard war king. Jiang Fan was also stunned. Beast kings, a group of beast kings, no. The demon energy beneath his feet soared into the sky, and who knew how many beast kings were in the ice cave below? The suffocating demon energy here was not any weaker than the 1,000-plus demon beast army led by the Black Spider before. He had fallen into a beast king camp. A chill ran straight to Jiang Fan's head. Was this space teleportation? No, it was teleportation to hell. Jiang Fan felt an impulse to curse. Within 100 miles, couldn't the teleportation send him somewhere better? Of all places, it had to send him into the demon beast camp. The odds were like a needle falling into a swarm of ants. And Jiang Fan just happened to be the one who got pricked. Bad luck didn't even begin to describe it. The Black Mirror evil spirit was dumbfounded and said, "No way, kid, are you the son of the god of misfortune?" How could something like this happen? Jiang Fan's heart sank. He'd rather be chased by Concubine Yun Xia. At least with her there was some chance of escape. However, Jiang Fan was not one to resign to fate. He wouldn't give up until the last moment. His mind raced. Finally, before the Lizard War King could figure him out, a flash of inspiration struck him. He immediately covered his face with his sleeve and quickly took out the Mirage Demon Pill he had seized from Liu Li and held it in his mouth. A strong surge of demon energy erupted from within him. The Lizard War King was stunned. There was a hint of doubt in his eyes. He sensed a fleeting human aura from Jiang Fan. He immediately shouted, "Alert!" 2 or 3 dozen ape-like beast kings immediately grabbed their ice spikes, ready to attack. Meanwhile, more and more beast kings continuously emerged from the ice cave. In the blink of an eye, over 200 of them had come out, and they kept coming. Jiang Fan silently took a deep breath. They were all king-level beast kings. Such a massive army of demon beasts, the one commanding them could not be a mere beast king. It was most likely a demon king. He became alert and thought, activate the ancient heart mirror, capture the inner thoughts of those around, and gather as much information about this camp as possible. The evil spirit said, "You better do it yourself, it'll be more direct." Jiang Fan anxiously said, "I don't even know how to use this mirror." "Haven't learned yet." The evil spirit nodded thoughtfully, then actively operated the black mirror to probe the thoughts of the surrounding beast kings. Soon, it gathered some key information for Jiang Fan. This place is the southwestern camp of the demon race, previously commanded by Liu Li, daughter of the demon emperor. It's now under the command of one of the demon kings, Zhu Ying. He is skilled in shadow manipulation techniques and is cunning and vigilant. Trying to use a demon race identity to blend in will be difficult. Prepare to fight for your life. The evil spirit sighed inwardly. From its perspective, Jiang Fan's trouble was no small matter right now. The only life-saving item he had was the nascent soul jade token. If he could use it to kill the demon king here, it would be good. At that point, the beast king army would be leaderless, and the demon beasts wouldn't have time to chase Jiang Fan down. If he couldn't kill the demon king, then it would be a problem. Demon beasts like the Lizard War King before him were not fewer than 10 in number here. Without the nascent soul jade token, Jiang Fan couldn't possibly evade their pursuit. After understanding the information, Jiang Fan stayed calm and composed. With his hands behind his back, he displayed a dignified demeanor and coldly said, "Where is Zhu Ying? Come out and see this envoy immediately." What made Jiang Fan's skin crawl was that the shadow he cast on the ground before him began to wriggle eerily. A humanoid shadow, pitch black as ink but with blood-red eyes, emerged from it. He was like a melting wax figure. The pitch-black skin sagged loosely. The drooping scalp covered half of his eyes. The long nose drooped down to his mouth, and his chin and ears were the same. The skin on his body was in layers like fine waves. It gave a severe sense of physiological discomfort, and the aura he emanated was terrifying beyond compare. Ninth layer of core formation, Jiang Fan found himself in awe. This Demon King's talent seemed to allow him to hide undetected in the shadows of living beings. With such a bizarre technique, if used for escaping, the nascent Soul Jade token might not be able to kill him. "Who are you?" Zhu Ying revealed a sliver of his red eyes, inspecting Jiang Fan up and down. Suspicion filled his eyes. He had never seen Jiang Fan within the demon race. Sensing Zhu Ying's suspicion, Jiang Fan, without saying a word, promptly took out the white bone butterfly hairpin hidden in his sleeve. "By order of the old priest, I have come to collect the bones left behind by the dead spirit army. You must cooperate." Seeing the white bone butterfly hairpin, Zhu Ying's red eyes showed a trace of shock. It was clear he recognized it as the holy artifact of the demon priest lineage, used to control dead corpse puppets. This item was exclusively held by the priest lineage. No one else was permitted to touch it. Was this person before him associated with the priest lineage? But the current generation only had Spirit Sound and Demon Moon. There was no mention of a third person. He hesitated and said, "Zhu Ying welcomes the priest's envoy. May I ask who the envoy is from the priest lineage and why I have never seen you before?" Jiang Fan's heartbeat quickened slightly. It was indeed hard to deceive him. His knowledge about the demon race was too limited, risking exposure. Fortunately, he had a trick up his sleeve. He immediately squinted and said, "It's best you don't know. Otherwise, I fear the old priest will take your life." He. Zhu Ying grew even more suspicious of Jiang Fan. The priest lineage had always been independent of the demon race, rarely intervening in their matters. Even if they had grievances, they would communicate with the demon emperor for resolution. Mentioning the old priest taking a demon race member's life showed a lack of understanding of their internal rules. His aura intensified, and his eyes glinted with cold light. Casually, he said, "I'm curious. What identity is so secret that knowing it would invite the old priest's wrath?" Jiang Fan coldly said, "Since you wish to die, I'll grant your wish." He touched his forehead with a finger, revealing a flash of spirit light. Through this light, a trace of hidden soul energy within Jiang Fan's body emerged. At first, Zhu Ying felt nothing. Then, a unique essence mixed with the heart connection worm's aura wafted out. Being a demon king, how could he not recognize the heart connection worm? And how could he not know what it signified? The demon resembling a human before him was the man of the current small priest, Demon Moon. He instinctively exclaimed, "Heart Khan!" Luckily, he snapped his mouth shut just in time. The continuation of the priest lineage was taboo, unknown to outsiders. If word got out from him, the old priest would indeed bypass the demon emperor and directly kill him. The envoy wasn't wrong. Their identity was not for him to know. "Why are you silent now?" Jiang Fan coldly said. From Jian Linyuan and others' descriptions, finding a man for the priest lineage was their top priority. Revealing such an identity should be effective. Zhu Ying took a deep breath. He no longer doubted Jiang Fan's identity. He quickly cupped his hands, showing respect. "Zhu Ying apologizes for the disrespect, envoy. The earlier sensation I must have mistaken. I won't speak of it to anyone. Please rest assured." He nervously wiped the sweat off his brow. One wrong word could cause a disaster. If this man's identity were to be exposed, the old priest would certainly suspect him. The consequences, HMPH, refusing the old priest's assistance order and questioning my identity. "Zhu Ying, you sure are bold. Wait for the old priest to deal with you." With that, he took a step forward. A bout of intimidation had temporarily subdued them. Now was the time to leave. Zhu Ying dared not let Jiang Fan leave in anger. "Envoy, wait, please wait." Zhu Ying forced a wry smile. "I have a small gift for the envoy to inspect." Jiang Fan only wanted to leave, rejecting without hesitation. "Keep it for yourself." Zhu Ying gritted his teeth and said, "To be honest, the reason I chose this place as the camp is that I accidentally discovered a human relic from 500 years ago beneath this ice cave. Though it had been looted, some items remained." He took out a thumb-sized, colorful stone. He held it with effort in his palm and said, "It's this item. I don't know its use, but it's extremely heavy." Just this tiny piece is hard for me to hold up. I think it's not an ordinary object. Jiang Fan glanced at it and his pupils contracted. This was no stone. It was clearly the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Light, although it was a very small stone, he confirmed. It was identical to the one from the 5 magnetic mountains. His heart pounded wildly. He finally knew where he had arrived. This was the resting place of the 5 elements divine monarch. This place had been excavated by the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion once, where they found that mysterious incomplete manual of 5 elements divine skill. Jiang Fan had even glimpsed a chapter within, considered to be a miraculous cultivation technique, the void flow 5 forces. Never would he have thought, by sheer chance, he would be transported to the resting place of the 5 elements divine monarch. Wait, Jiang Fan suddenly realized, being transported here was no coincidence. Within a 100-mile radius, such vast land. How could it be so coincidental to transport him directly into the demon race camp? It was because this location had attracted the 5 magnetic mountains. That changed the spatial transmission, sending Jiang Fan here. Realizing this, he suddenly understood. There were not so many coincidences in the world. There were just unknown causes and effects. Looking at the small stone before him, Jiang Fan asked, "Is this the only small one?" Seeing Jiang Fan's interest, Zhu Ying breathed a sigh of relief and said, "There are plenty in the cave mansion. If the envoy is interested, you can take them all." He thought to himself, it didn't matter since they were of no use to him. These stones looked colorful and very heavy, seeming extraordinary. But no matter how he studied them, he couldn't find their use. For this purpose, he had even captured some human martial artists and had them try to activate it with their spiritual power. But it was still useless. Jiang Fan's heart stirred and he said, "Take me to see the cave mansion first." Since the void flow thunder force was drawn here, there must be a reason. It shouldn't be just this small stone. Zhu Ying replied enthusiastically, "Envoy, please follow me." Accompanied by him, Jiang Fan ventured into the ice cave, traversing its intricate paths. Finally, deep within the ice cave, they saw a secret chamber built with 5 colored stones. These stones were identical to those from the 5 magnetic mountains. Only due to some reasons, they were not as tightly bound together as the 5 magnetic mountains. The 5 magnetic mountains in his arms also began to tremble slightly as he approached the secret chamber. Indeed, it was drawn by the relics. The stone door of the secret chamber had long been blasted into pieces, scattered around. The inside was empty. Only the stones are left. Worried that Jiang Fan might think he had taken the treasures inside, Zhu Ying said, "This secret chamber was opened many years ago and was cleaned out thoroughly. Nothing was left besides these heavy stones." Inside and outside of the secret chamber, every corner. He had searched thoroughly, really nothing left, except for a bunch of broken stones. He hadn't bothered with the secret chamber for half a month. If it weren't for wanting to curry favor with Jiang Fan today, he wouldn't have bothered coming here. "Envoy, if you're interested in these stones, I'll order them to be moved back to the demon race." Zhu Ying showed unease in his eyes. With the secret chamber empty, the envoy would most likely be disappointed. Suppressing his excitement, Jiang Fan said, "No need to hurry. Let me study this secret chamber first. If it's convenient, could I be alone here?" Zhu Ying found it amusing. This guy was still not giving up. This cave mansion had already been scavenged twice, including by him. What could still be left? However, it was good for Jiang Fan to be interested. The favor was given and their debt was settled. Of course. Envoy, take your time, I'll be leaving." "Let's go, don't disturb the envoy's peace." Leading the demons, he left, leaving Jiang Fan alone, caressing the secret chamber like a treasure. My goodness, so many stones from the 5 magnetic mountains. In terms of volume, it's no less than a new 5 magnetic mountain. If these stones could all be integrated into the 5 magnetic mountains, their power would be doubled, right? Jiang Fan muttered excitedly. Currently, the suppressive power of the 5 magnetic mountains was slightly insufficient for the 9th layer of core formation. Back then, the demon moon had withstood it by sheer force. Fang Teiji, at the full perfection of the 9th layer of core formation, had punched it away with a single blow. Its suppressive power needed to be enhanced urgently. However, before doing so, he still somewhat reluctantly entered the secret chamber to check, to see if he could find anything overlooked. After a thorough inspection, Jiang Fan sighed deeply. "I was overthinking. They aren't blind or stupid. The inspection methods I thought of, they would have thought of as well." He carefully checked each stone. including imbuing it with spiritual energy, baking it with fire, soaking it in water, and identifying sounds, but couldn't find any useful clues on the stones. It seemed this was just a stone chamber. It shouldn't be. Jiang Fan frowned. If the five elements divine monarch wanted to sit in meditation, why not just find a random stone cave? Why go through the trouble of using stones from the five magnetic mountains to build a separate chamber and die inside? He vaguely sensed something was wrong, but couldn't figure out why. It was the Black Mirror evil spirit who made a guess. I suspect this secret chamber is related to its legacy. The five elements divine monarch always acted meticulously. Everything he did had meaning. This secret chamber, as you said, wouldn't be built for no reason. It must be to leave something for his inheritor, but didn't want unrelated people to get it. Unfortunately, the legacy was long gone. Where to? What are you doing? The evil spirit was startled to see. Jiang Fan's eyes lit up, pressing a hand against the stone wall. A different kind of energy surged from his body. This wasn't the usual physical power, but a profound, elusive power with a hint of thunder. It was the Void Flow Thunder Force. As the Void Flow Thunder Force entered the stone wall, a surprising scene unfolded before Jiang Fan's eyes. The thunder force adhered to the stone's surface, emitting intermittent flashes of thunder light. 1, 2, 3, countless flashes. When all the intermittent thunder arcs connected into a sequence, they formed a text. The five magnetic divine light? The evil spirit exclaimed excitedly. Boy, this is one of the two major skills of the five elements divine monarch. One is the void flow five forces. The other is this five magnetic divine light. He built this secret chamber to hide a mystery, to leave a cultivation technique for his inheritor. Wait, the evil spirit suddenly realized something. Suspiciously, he asked, did you just use the void flow five forces? These thunder arcs didn't look like the usual power of thunder and lightning. Instead, they resembled Jiang Fan's own power. Jiang Fan, knowing he couldn't hide it, replied, yes, I just learned it recently. Hiss, the evil spirit took a deep breath. Where did you get it from? Jiang Fan recounted the origin of the five elements' divine skill. After listening, the evil spirit's heart nearly shattered. You say you got the five elements' divine skill for just a little merit? Jiang Fan, dissatisfied, said, watch your words. Was that a little merit? It was a full 10,000 merit that I earned with my life. Before he could finish, the evil spirit sprayed him with saliva. Merit is worthless. Do you know how many Outer Realm divine sect and great sect on Earth are searching for the five elements divine skill? As far as I know, there are at least 5. Each one is a colossal force with a divinity transformation realm overseeing it. Some even have a sage's shadow behind them. Realm was one thing, he could understand that. The void flow 5 forces, created by the 5 elements divine monarch, was indeed unfathomable. He could understand why other divinity transformation realm cultivators coveted it. But he didn't expect even the sages were envious. It was only then that he realized the void flow 5 forces was far more valuable than he had imagined. A mere 10,000 merit points, it was practically a giant bargain. The evil spirit, envious and breathing heavily through his nostrils, said, the divine skill they couldn't get. And you dog, exchanged it for just 10,000 merit points. Not only that, you comprehended the void flow 5 forces with the help of the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. Wait, now you found the hidden 5 magnetic divine light using the void flow thunder force. You really deserve to die? Jealousy twisted his features. He directly began to vent, especially thinking about how he had almost lost his life for a lower spiritual artifact, the ancient heart mirror. In contrast to Jiang Fan, who exchanged a demon beast's claw for all the opportunities of the 5 elements divine monarch. That feeling was more unbearable than being killed. Jiang Fan rolled his eyes and said, opportunities favor the prepared. If I hadn't risked cutting off the sky-devouring tiger's claw, could I have exchanged it with Aoyang Jun for the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain? Every sip and every bite are predestined. You can't envy that. The evil spirit still couldn't quell his indignation. Annoyed, he said, stop the nonsense. Hurry up and find that nascent soul corpse for me so I can take over its body. I want to leave you as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll be angered to death by you sooner or later, Jiang Fan sneered. Who would want to be entangled with an evil spirit? Once I get back to Boundary Mountain to rest, I'll look for an opportunity to go to the place you mentioned. The evil spirit paused and snorted. You better. Jiang Fan ignored him, focusing on reading the 5 magnetic divine light. An Earth-level high technique with only one layer, named 5 magnetic divine light. Its strength is determined by the 5 elements power contained in the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Once mastered, the 5 magnetic divine light can be released through the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Within the range covered by the divine light, all forces are prohibited, and void flow passage is enabled. All forces are prohibited. Jiang Fan frowned slightly. What did those 4 words mean? With this question in mind, he carefully pondered the entire text. The content wasn't difficult, especially with his comprehension. It only took him about the time to drink a cup of tea to roughly understand the cultivation secrets. He immediately began to cultivate on the spot. Not long after, with a thought, he formed a seal technique with one hand and struck the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain with a buzzing tremor. The palm-sized 5 magnetic Yuan mountain suddenly burst out with a layer of 5-colored light. Centering on the small mountain, the 5-colored light radiated outward, forming an umbrella shape that covered a radius of 3 yards. Is this the 5 magnetic divine light? Jiang Fan bathed in the divine light, still somewhat confused. What was all forces prohibited? Suddenly, his whole body felt weak, his body swaying as if he could not stand steadily. It was as if he was recovering from a severe illness. What's going on? Jiang Fan was startled, trying to circulate his spiritual power. He was shocked to find that his spiritual power seemed to be solidified in his golden core. He couldn't mobilize it no matter how hard he tried. Even more surprising was that his soul power was also sealed. He couldn't extend it beyond the 3-yard range. This, body strength, spiritual power, and even soul power are all prohibited. Jiang Fan was greatly shocked. He hurriedly activated the void flow thunder force. Crackling, thunder and lightning surged out smoothly, unimpeded. He finally understood what all forces prohibited void flow passage meant. His eyes gleamed with light. He could hardly imagine. If he got into close combat with an enemy and suddenly unleashed the 5 magnetic divine light, causing the opponent to lose all their strength, while Jiang Fan alone could still use void flow thunder force, he could gain a tremendous advantage. With a look of delight, he practiced the 5 magnetic divine light skillfully, over and over. In the process, he unexpectedly discovered many wondrous uses of the divine light. Lord Messenger, the Demon King sent me to ask if you need any help. Seeing that Jiang Fan hadn't come out for a long time, the Demon King Juying sent someone to inquire. Jiang Fan quickly retracted the 5 magnetic divine light and said, "Coming right now." Watching the demon beast leave, he turned and came to the secret room of the 5-colored stone. These stones originated from the same source as the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Could they be melted into it? Thinking about it, he took out a small piece of 5-colored stone and placed it on the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Unexpectedly, the two repelled each other. The small stone was ejected. I was overthinking. Jiang Fan couldn't help laughing. After all, the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain was a refined spiritual artifact, while the 5-colored stones were merely materials. How could it be so easy to fuse materials into a refined spiritual artifact? Certain specific conditions must be met to combine them. Jiang Fan thought for a moment and decided to collect all the stones first. He activated the Heavenly Thunder Stone immediately, storing the entire 5-colored secret room. He didn't even spare the small 5-colored stones scattered on the ground or the 5-colored sands, collecting them all without leaving a trace. Only then did he walk out of the ice cave. As soon as he emerged from the exit, he heard pleas for mercy coming from the camp. Raising his eyes, a badly injured demon beast bound to an ice pillar was being whipped with a leather lash. Her upper body was human, her face very beautiful. Her lower body, however, was a fishtail covered in colorful scales. The whip struck the tail, flinging scales stained with blood, causing the mermaid to be in extreme pain. The Demon King Juying stood indifferently to one side, quietly watching the mermaid being punished. His voice hoarse, he said, "Releasing the humans caught during these days captives without permission. You have some nerve. Do you think that after a sea-charmed Demon King was born in the clan, you can act recklessly and collude with humans?" So it turned out. The mermaid demon belonged to the clan of the sea-charmed Demon King. In recent days, several disciples from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and even the 9th sect were on missions. Some unlucky ones encountered their patrol team and were captured. Given the relations between the two clans, how could these humans expect to survive? This kind-hearted mermaid couldn't bear to see them suffer a tragic fate, so she secretly set them free. Who would have thought she would be found out? This matter has nothing to do with the clan leader. don't implicate her. Despite the pain, this mermaid demon took responsibility alone. For the mermaid clan, it was a hard-won blessing to have a demon king born among them. With her around, the mermaid clan would no longer suffer oppression. How could they implicate her? The demon king Jiuying coldly said, "Fine, very fine indeed. I admire compatriots with such backbone. In that case, stop whipping her." The war king executing the punishment immediately halted. The mermaid thought she was saved. Unexpectedly, a trace of cruelty appeared in the eyes of the demon king Jiuying. Then, change it to flaying. If you don't skin her with at least 3,000 cuts, you'll be next. The executioner's face twitched. Even though demon beasts could endure pain, flaying would make them wish for death. The mermaid, upon hearing this, shivered in fear and pleaded, "Demon King Jiuying, I was wrong. Please kill me." The demon King Jiuying said indifferently, "If you sympathize with humans, then take the punishment for them. Execute." The war king mercilessly raised a sharp stone knife, plunging it fiercely into the mermaid. "Stop!" Jiang Fan called out loudly. Since she was a member of the Sea Charm clan and was punished for saving humans, Jiang Fan couldn't in good conscience pretend not to see. He had to intervene. For safety, he used the 5 magnetic divine light to form a thin 5-colored light membrane, covering his entire body. The demon king, Jiuying, recognized the voice, looking at Jiang Fan in surprise up and down. "Messenger, are you all right?" Jiang Fan waved his hand. Approaching, he casually untied the mermaid's restraints, covering her with a piece of clothing. He said, turning his head, "Could you spare her on my account? After all, we are all part of the same clan. There's no need to harm each other." The demon king, Jiuying, frowned. This was a military camp, a place of rules. The mermaid released humans, breaking his rules. If she wasn't severely punished, wouldn't his rules be reduced to nonsense? Moreover, he had already compensated the messenger, owing him nothing. Hence, he refused. "I'm sorry, messenger, but I cannot grant this request." Jiang Fan frowned. He was pondering whether to forcefully take the mermaid away. A voice that sent chills down his spine came. "He can't grant it. What about my request?" Concubine Yun Xia had arrived at some point. She stood a short distance away, quietly observing the scene before her. Jiuying looked upon hearing the words. His face changed dramatically, and he hurriedly hobbled over to Concubine Yun Xia. He knelt on one knee with utmost respect. "Your humble servant, Demon King Jiuying, pays respects to Concubine Yun Xia." The person before him was the prime of the Demon Emperor's 36 concubines, the most beloved and trusted of his consorts. Her status was not merely high. She was also a master whose strength had reached the 9th layer of core formation. Moreover, she had experienced attempts at achieving nascent soul transformation. In terms of power, Demon King Jiuying couldn't catch up even if he whipped his horse. How could he dare not to show respect? "Release that mermaid!" Concubine Yun Xia's eyes were calm. Her gentle tone carried an undeniable command. Demon King Jiuying hesitated and said, "Yes. However, this mermaid privately released members of the human clan. If we are so lenient with her, what should we do if the other subordinates follow her example?" He must obey the order, daring not to defy it. But he needed a reasonable explanation to quell his subordinates' complaints, didn't he? Concubine Yun Xia glanced at Jiang Fan, covered in 5 magnetic divine light. She said indifferently, "That demon comrade's words are true. Since we are kin, why the mutual slaughter? Moreover, this mermaid released a harmless, ordinary human. It does not affect the overall situation. On the contrary, when the war ends and the relationship between the two clans needs mending, she who once saved humans can be pushed out as a peace envoy between the clans." Demon King Jiuying furrowed his brow and muttered. "The war will end," was Concubine Yun Xia hinting at something. But then Concubine Yun Xia spoke leisurely. "Is there any war that never ceases? Even the grandest war will have a day of conclusion. The human clan and the demon race are evenly matched. This war will surely end with both sides suffering heavy casualties. At that time, it is bound to be the moment for a temporary truce, a handshake, and mutual retreat to hone power. Both sides will embellish each other to reduce friction. This mermaid I find quite suitable. With her beautiful looks and kind heart, along with the merit of saving humans, she will dissolve much of the human clan's hatred." Jiang Fan nodded secretly. It had to be said, though she was a woman, Concubine Yun Xia had extraordinary foresight. The decisive battle had not yet begun, but she had anticipated the course and outcome of the war. She even considered the need for reconciliation and propaganda after the truce. Fortunately, she was not deeply involved in this war. Otherwise, she would be a thorny presence for the human clan. Demon King Jueying nodded and said, Concubine Yun Xia's words make sense. Release her, provide good food and drink. She will be of great use in the future. He then respectfully asked, Concubine Yun Xia, why have you suddenly graced the camp with your presence? Concubine Yun Xia raised her bound hands and said, I encountered a troublesome young human. Find someone skilled in unlocking to remove these chains. Demon King Jueying was stunned. Who could have subdued Concubine Yun Xia, even bound her hands, feet, and neck in chains? Did the opponent dare harm Concubine Yun Xia? Do I need to repeat myself? Concubine Yun Xia's eyes slightly glared, exuding authority without rage. She knew what Demon King Jueying was thinking. She also understood what the concerned looks from the War Kings meant. After all, Concubine Yun Xia was known for her immortal beauty. Had she been violated while subdued? It was hard to tell, but she couldn't clarify. Because she had indeed been touched all over by Jiang Fan, thinking of this, she couldn't help but become furious, issuing a second order. Additionally, send your men to search every corner within 300 miles. Find that person at all costs. Demon King Jueying touched his wrinkled nose and hesitantly asked, May I ask Concubine Yun Xia, who is the person you speak of? What's their name and appearance? Concubine Yun Xia was about to describe Jiang Fan's appearance. She thought for a moment and sighed, Forget it. It's been so long, he must have disappeared without a trace. Her peripheral vision caught sight of a figure within the 5 magnetic divine light. She was quite surprised and said, Which clan are you from? This 5-colored radiance is something I am seeing for the first time. Jiang Fan felt a slight relief. It seemed that Concubine Yun Xia could not see through the 5 magnetic divine light. He slightly suppressed his voice and said, By the order of the old priest, I have come to meet Concubine Yun Xia. Priest. Concubine Yun Xia showed a hint of apprehension. Was it Spirit Sound, the ever-youthful, immortal priest? Why did she send someone here? The priest lineage was always mysterious. The current old priest, Spirit Sound, was particularly enigmatic. Every time they met, Concubine Yun Xia felt as if she was being seen through. It made her very uncomfortable. Why did Spirit Sound send someone to the camp during this critical moment of the great battle? But she couldn't ask directly. She represented the Demon Emperor as his concubine. Asking too directly might be seen as probing into the secrets of the priest lineage. She could only tactfully inquire, What are your thoughts on the battlefield as you arrived here? Jiang Fan pondered for a moment and then said slowly, Heaven and earth are the chessboard, sentient beings are the pawns. It is the common people at the bottom who suffer. I hope the war ends soon and peace returns to both clans. Concubine Yun Xia had only asked casually, but she heard an answer that shook her heart slightly. She couldn't help but murmur, Heaven and earth are the chessboard, sentient beings are the pawns. A fitting metaphor. Is this the reason you saved the mermaid? Jiang Fan nodded and said, Yes, the ancient martyrs of all races protected the millennium of peace with their flesh and blood. If the races slaughter each other, what meaning does their sacrifice hold? I do not expect the powerful leaders to have a vision of great unity and equality for all beings. At the very least, they shouldn't treat the weak cruelly and should grant them basic space for survival. He implied the Demon Emperor. He hoped Concubine Yun Xia could comprehend and convey this to the Demon Emperor. Concubine Yun Xia found it interesting. Oh, great unity, equality for all beings. This is a fresh perspective. But the law that the weak are meat to be devoured by the strong is eternal. Demons are like this, humans are like this, all races are like this. This world should naturally be so. Jiang Fan shook his head and said deeply yet strongly, Concubine Yun Xia, please look to the long river of history. Tracing back 10,000 years of the human clan, the rise and fall of dynasties, which has not ended with the fall of old nobility and the rise of new. Looking at the demon race's drastic changes over the past century, without the fall of the old demon emperor, could the new demon emperor have arisen? The world has no fixed law, so how can there be an iron rule? We just lack a great figure to guide us in establishing a great unity world, creating a realm where all beings are equal. Perhaps there was once such a figure, but they fell along the way. His words were light, but they had a deafening power stirring people's hearts. Concubine Yun Xia fell into contemplation and asked, What is great unity? What is equality? For the demon race, these were the most unfamiliar concepts. Since birth, they were either predators or prey. Equality was a non-existent term. Jiang Fan, with his hands behind his back, looked to the sky and said, Respect the elderly in your family as well as the elderly in others' families. Treat the young in your family as well as the young in others' families. These 16 words struck like thunder on Concubine Yun Xia's heart. They also struck the heart of every demon present. The vision of people treating each other as equals, living in harmony, respecting unrelated elders as their own parents, nurturing others' children as their own, slowly emerged. It sounded distant, dreamlike, unrealistic, and even absurd enough to mock. But upon careful reflection, isn't that the world they most desire in their hearts, without deceit, slaughter, or selfish interests? Everyone lived equally and peacefully. Every person born weeping into the world would return to the earth with a smile. This was how living beings should exist. The vast camp fell into deep silence. They were all shaken by the great unity world depicted in those 16 words. Concubine Yun Xia was momentarily lost. The concept of the great unity world deeply impacted her. Looking back at Jiang Fan, she had a bit of respect in her eyes. She slightly bowed and saluted. "Hearing your words, sir, is better than reading books for 10 years. Yun Xia is enlightened," Jiang Fan said. "It is merely one person's opinion. I have matters to attend to, so I will not disturb Concubine Yun Xia any longer. Farewell." "Wait," Concubine Yun Xia called to Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan's heart skipped a beat. Did he say too much, and had she noticed something? He had experienced her intelligence. He turned around, forcing himself to stay calm, and said, "What's the matter?" Concubine Yun Xia did not speak. A tail emerged from beneath her skirt and reached in front of her. With a gentle pull of her delicate hand, she plucked a tuft of unique silver fox fur. A trace of yearning appeared in her gentle eyes. "The great unity world that you spoke of. Yun Xia likes it very much." Jiang Fan nodded and said, "It will come." Concubine Yun Xia flicked her fingers. The tuft of fox fur floated in front of Jiang Fan. "This is a strand of innate essence from my silver fox clan. It can devour the soul of enemies. Sir, if you are in trouble, you can use it." Concubine Yun Xia was even giving him a gift. Jiang Fan's expression became strange. If this woman knew that the person standing in front of her was Jiang Fan, she would probably turn hostile on the spot. He didn't dare to show any flaws and immediately accepted it, clasping his fist in thanks. "Thank you for your generosity, Concubine Yun Xia. Farewell." With that, he turned and left. He walked far away. Suddenly, he heard Concubine Yun Xia's voice calling from afar. "Sir, when will the mighty figure you spoke of appear?" Jiang Fan turned back and saw that Concubine Yun Xia was still standing where she was, silently watching him leave. She truly longed for it. Jiang Fan's heart was conflicted. Such a world only existed in his mind. How could he know when it would come? But seeing the figure of Concubine Yun Xia unwilling to leave for a long time, he could not bear it and took a deep breath, pointing to himself and then far away to her. He shouted, "As long as our hearts yearn for it, we are that figure." With that, he walked away completely, leaving Concubine Yun Xia standing there in a daze for a long time. Demon King Zhuang came to his senses and said with a sigh, "The people of the priest line really have something. Their thoughts are not something we common folk can fathom. The great unity world, he really dares to think." Concubine Yun Xia also suddenly woke up. She murmured Jiang Fan's last words. "As long as our hearts yearn for it, we are that figure. If one day I no longer have to bear the fate of the silver fox line. What's wrong with abandoning everything to follow his footsteps?" With a sigh, a war king covered in hard bones came. He bowed and said, "Du Gu, at your service, I specialize in unlocking. May I ask Concubine Yun Xia, do you want to unlock it now?" "Immediately." Concubine Yun Xia didn't want to be bound by this damn chain for another moment. Du Gu nodded and observed the chain on Concubine Yun Xia. He found the position of the lock. Inside, there was a hole that required a key to open, but that was not difficult for him. He extended his finger and inserted it into the keyhole. His finger softened upon encountering something hard, flowing like mud deep into the keyhole, filling it. Then, with a thought, the mud solidified. It had now become a key. As his finger turned, click, the lock opened. The dragon binding chain slid off Concubine Yun Xia's body with a clang. She felt a great sense of relief. Looking at her wrists, chafed and worn by the chain, her eyes flashed with anger. "Jiang Fan, you better pray you don't get caught by me. Otherwise, I'll make you taste what it's like to be chained too." Demon King Zhuang frowned and said, "Concubine Yun Xia, the Jiang Fan you speak of. Is he that Jiang Fan?" Concubine Yun Xia snorted. "Who else but him? He used a nascent soul jade token to injure me and captured me alive. Thankfully, Demon King Chunny arrived and chased him away. But he escaped using a space scroll. Space scroll." Demon King Zhuang's body shook, his eyes showing disbelief. "The Jiang Fan you speak of, does he wear black clothes and have extremely fair skin?" Concubine Yun Xia was taken aback, then quickly shouted, "You've seen him!" "When?" "Where?" Demon King Jueying gasped. It was really Jiang Fan. He was actually the man of the current priest. If this spread out, it would cause an uproar. Without any hesitation, he decided to hide the truth and pretend not to know. Speaking out might not bring any benefits, but the bad consequences were certain. He didn't want to provoke the priest line. "Speak!" Concubine Yun Xia suddenly changed, shouting anxiously. Gone was her previous composure and gentleness. Demon King Jueying came back to his senses and quickly said, "Did not Concubine Yun Xia see him just now too?" "Just now." Concubine Yun Xia frowned. "Don't play riddles with me, tell me clearly, where is he?" Actually, she already had the answer in her heart. She just didn't want to believe it. Until Demon King Jueying cautiously said, "It's the person to whom Concubine Yun Xia just gave a gift." But I was also fooled by him, thinking he was an envoy of the demon priest. Absolutely not colluding with humans. Concubine Yun Xia didn't hear a word of the latter part. She staggered a step. A stifling air rapidly expanded in her chest, making it hard for her to breathe. The gentleman who spoke of the great unity world, who said, "We are that figure." The one who sincerely taught her, moved her to admiration, and to whom she gave a precious treasure of the Silver Fox clan, was actually that scoundrel. He not only walked away right under her nose openly, she even foolishly gave him a gift and watched him leave. "Outrageous!" Concubine Yun Xia suddenly roared. From under her skirt, 9 fox tails abruptly stretched out, slapping the ground fiercely. Boom, 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 terrifying explosions erupted one after another. The permafrost, hardened like iron for 1,000 years, fractured into deep fissures under the impact of the tails. Snowflakes flew, frozen earth shot high into the sky. The surrounding war kings retreated in fear. Even Demon King Jueying was startled by the spectacle. If he were hit by those tails, he would probably turn into minced meat instantly. At this moment, Concubine Yun Xia was full of killing intent. From a female bodhisattva, she had transformed into a female Asura. She stomped her feet, cracking the frozen earth, and shot into the air. Her eyes filled with imposing killing intent, she roared, "Jiang Fan? You're dead!" Demon King Chunny scratched her head and hurriedly followed. Concubine Yun Xia did not pursue for long. On an ice mountain 10 miles away from the military camp, she found the tuft of fox fur she had given away. She had followed the aura of her own fox tail to find it. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan had been cautious, realizing that the aura could be easily tracked, so he abandoned such an important treasure. "Damn it!" Concubine Yun Xia tightly clenched the tuft of fox fur. She thought, comparatively, Jiang Fan was the real fox. Sly enough to drive one mad, at this moment. Demon King Chunny came over, smashing through the ice layer all the way. Suddenly, she found words carved on the snow beside her and muttered, "This guy even left a message." Just a glance left her eyes wide open. She quickly used her body to block it. Concubine Yun Xia was suspicious. "What did he write? Why are you blocking it from me?" Demon King Chunny said, "Don't look at it, we should hurry and catch up with him." The more she said this, the more Concubine Yun Xia wanted to see what that scoundrel had written. She pushed Chunny away and looked at the ground, but at a glance, she was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. On the ice surface, there were several crooked demon race characters engraved. "Concubine Yun Xia, reading this letter is like seeing you. I appreciate the favor, sending a lock of hair as a gift. However, I have a wife and you have a husband. It's really inappropriate to accept it. Returning the gift, please do not pursue me anymore. To avoid misunderstandings that Concubine Yun Xia's love for me is overwhelming. Concubine Yun Xia may disregard your dignity, but I still have to face my wives at home. Hope you understand." Finished reading. Concubine Yun Xia's body trembled incessantly, her silver teeth clenched, grinding until they creaked. "You have a wife and I have a husband. I disregard my dignity and you have to face your wives. Jiang Fan, you are shameless." With a bang, a tail lashed out, shattering the words along with the ice surface in front of her into pieces. "Chun-Nai, I'll chase south, you go back to the camp and mobilize the army. I will find him at all costs." Boom, she stomped on the ground, shattering a large area of ice and shot off. Chun-Nai hurried back to the camp to gather reinforcements. Little did they know, shortly after they left, the ice mountain where the lock of fox hair was left gently shook. A gap was broken at the mountain's base. Jiang Fan poked his head out, cautiously looked around, and then carefully squeezed out. He had calculated. Once Concubine Yun Xia realized, with his speed, he wouldn't be able to run far before being caught up. He had to divert her away, so he intentionally left some harsh words to provoke her into leaving in anger. Glancing south, Jiang Fan frowned. I can only take a detour back to Boundary Mountain now. Otherwise, I'd run right into her. However, as soon as he finished speaking, an icy, hellish voice came coldly from above his head. You are not going anywhere. What? Jiang Fan's heart skipped a beat. Without looking up, he knew it was Concubine Yun Xia. She hadn't fallen for it. She had always been lurking nearby, waiting for Jiang Fan to show himself. Jiang Fan stiffly tilted his head up. Concubine Yun Xia, dressed in white, stood on the ice mountain with her delicate fists clenched tightly. Her gentle and watery immortal beauty was replaced by intense rage. Her eyes shot out ice-cold, bone-chilling rays. Do you think the same trick will fool me a second time? Concubine Yun Xia said coldly. Jiang Fan's face stiffened. This Concubine Yun Xia was really not easy to deceive. He awkwardly waved his hand. Fairy Yun Xia, long time no see. Concubine Yun Xia gritted her silver teeth in anger and sneered coldly. Ha ha ha, young Master Jiang is really polite. You don't blame me for chasing you endlessly, ruining your dignity? Jiang Fan said awkwardly. It was just a joke, just a joke. Concubine Yun Xia flew down. Her feet heavily hit the ground, and a crack extended from under her feet all the way to Jiang Fan. As she stepped towards Jiang Fan with every step, the cold light in her eyes intensified. Is my body soft, fragrant, comfortable to touch? The killing intent was overwhelming. Jiang Fan took a step back, coughed. Concubine Yun Xia, don't take it to heart. That was a routine body search with no malice. But this did not diminish Concubine Yun Xia's killing intent, it only deepened it. Give me supplementary attacks, maintaining my injuries, do I still get them? Thinking about what Jiang Fan had done, she became angrier the more she thought about it. Jiang Fan stepped back again and said, No more, no more. Suddenly, he tripped over a piece of broken ice, sat down on the ground with a thud. Concubine Yun Xia finally reached in front of Jiang Fan. The terrifying aura of ninth-layer perfection exploded like a volcano. Her eyes spitting fire said, I have never in my life endured such humiliation. Touching me, binding me with chains, teasing words, each one should make you be torn to pieces. Whoosh. She took out the long dragon binding chain and angrily said, First, let you taste what it's like to be bound. Then I'll crush your skull, throw you on the roadside to feed dogs, pigs, and beasts. Will you bind yourself, or should I do it? Jiang Fan shrugged his neck and said, Concubine Yun Xia, don't be like this. The current you doesn't resemble your usual self. Concubine Yun Xia laughed angrily. You have the nerve to mention it. Wasn't it you who caused this? Fine, if you won't bind yourself, I'll personally do it. She stepped forward with the chain, grabbed Jiang Fan's wrist, and wrapped the dragon binding chain around it. Take out your other hand, she ordered. There was a hint of vengeful excitement in her voice. Jiang Fan obediently took out his other hand. In his palm, he held a palm-sized 5-colored stone. It was the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. Before Concubine Yun Xia could see clearly what it was, the previously resigned Jiang Fan's face suddenly turned murderous, and he roared, 5 magnetic divine light! The hand holding the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain had already formed the seal technique and struck the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. Buzz, the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain immediately burst into a radiant 5-colored light, covering a 3-zhang radius like an umbrella. Concubine Yun Xia trembled, reflexively trying to retreat. With her power, a slight point of her toe could have taken her back several zhangs. However, at that moment, she was horrified to find. As a member of the demon race, her terrifying physical strength was completely gone. That point of her toe produced no force, and instead, she stumbled and fell to the ground. Where's my strength? What did you do? Concubine Yun Xia showed a panicked expression. She quickly realized it was the strange 5-colored light that was causing this. She immediately tried to crawl out of the 5-colored light with the little strength she had left. Jiang Fan said indifferently, I waited for you for so long just to lure you in. Do you think I'll let you escape? He ruthlessly struck towards Fairy Yun Xia's back. Perceiving the danger, Fairy Yun Xia turned and struck back, urgently shouting. Get away! She couldn't exert any strength, but Jiang Fan was different. He was the master here. Void Flow Thunder Force! Intense thunder power burst from his palm. Bang! As their palms collided, the powerful thunderbolt penetrated Fairy Yun Xia's arm, making her bones crack. Against the 5 magnetic divine light, all forces were nullified. As Concubine Yun Xia's strength weakened, her physical durability also plummeted. Thus, her bones were easily broken by Jiang Fan. Ah! Concubine Yun Xia let out a painful cry, but immediately after, Jiang Fan's ruthless palm struck towards her vital point on her back. He said coldly, I told you before, The life-saving grace from my senior uncle and you is repaid. I won't show mercy if we meet again. So, I apologize." The fierce palm containing the void flow thunder force pierced through her back mercilessly, straightly towards her heart, just as it was about to shatter her heart. At the critical moment, a nascent soul aura surged from her heart, instantly dispersing the void flow thunder force, and the remaining aura shot towards Jiang Fan. Luckily, Jiang Fan reacted quickly, dodging it in time, narrowly escaping death. Jiang Fan was astounded. This was the nascent soul aura even after being weakened by the 5 magnetic divine light. Otherwise, he would have been killed instantly. Concubine Yun Xia showed a regretful look and said, "Bad people live long, even this didn't kill you?" Jiang Fan's eyes flickered, not daring to act rashly, and he asked sternly, "What's going on inside your body?" Concubine Yun Xia's face showed a mocking look. "If I were so easy to kill, would the Demon Emperor let me out? I have the secret technique left by the Demon Emperor inside me. If I encounter a life-threatening situation, it will be triggered. You were lucky, the 5-colored divine light weakened its strength. Next time you won't be so lucky." Jiang Fan's expression changed unpredictably. Was she telling the truth or lying? After a brief thought, he snorted, "What are you so proud of? Forgot your situation. I may not kill you, but there's no problem taking you back to the human clan, right?" He didn't want to risk killing her. Annoying problems, leave them to the human clan's higher-ups. Concubine Yun Xia's face finally stiffened. Her heart sank. Jiang Fan showed a half-smile. "Concubine Yun Xia, are you reluctant to be my captive?" Concubine Yun Xia spat. "Who wants to be your captive?" Jiang Fan didn't get angry. He picked up the dragon binding chain from the ground, clicking his tongue. "You even prepared the dragon binding chain for yourself. And you say you don't want to? Such a hypocritical woman." Amid Concubine Yun Xia's exclamations, he firmly locked her up again. In her terrified trembles, Jiang Fan once again placed his hand on her shoulder, playfully said, "Concubine Yun Xia, now it's the usual routine." His palm slid along Concubine Yun Xia's smooth collarbone, slowly sliding down. Xia's face suddenly changed, filled with shame and anger. "If you stop now, I might consider sparing your life. Otherwise..." Jiang Fan turned a deaf ear to her, his palm exploring her body. This kind of meaningless nonsense, he couldn't be bothered to listen to even a word. As Jiang Fan's palm moved over her, her body shuddered again. She was instantly humiliated to the extreme and said in a low voice, "Jiang Fan, killing is merely a matter of striking a head and raising a hand. Why must you humiliate me like this?" Jiang Fan rolled his eyes at her. "Isn't it because I can't kill you that I need to take you as a captive?" Concubine Yun Xia's expression froze, and her tone softened as she spoke rationally. "But didn't you already search my body before? Why go through this again?" Jiang Fan finished searching her waist and sleeves, his hand moving towards her chest. "That was earlier. You've been with Demon King Chunni for so long. Who knows what you might have hidden on you again? For safety's sake, it's better to search thoroughly once more." With that, he directly reached inside. Concubine Yun Xia's body stiffened as if struck by an electric current. The strange sensation made her both ashamed and bizarrely infuriated. Desperate to find a hole to crawl into, she shamefully closed her eyes and stretched her neck, letting Jiang Fan explore. After a detailed and thorough search once again, he indeed found something. It was that clump of blood-stained silver fox fur. "This fox fur, and I really have a connection. After all this, it's come back to me," Jiang Fan muttered, immediately stuffing it into his own chest without any further politeness. Then he searched her thighs and shoes again. "All right, wait." Jiang Fan touched his chin, suddenly remembering there was still one place he hadn't searched. "Almost forgot, your 9 tails have grown back." With a wave of his hand, he lifted her skirt. This scared Concubine Yun Xia, who exclaimed in surprise, "Don't move, I'll pull out the tails myself." If even that place was searched, she would be entirely defiled. She might as well die to prove her chastity. 9 fluffy, snowy white tails emerged. Jiang Fan picked up one and cradled it in his hands. Perhaps due to the 5 magnetic divine light, the fox's tail was soft and fluffy. It felt very comfortable to the touch. If you want to search, don't just randomly touch." As Jiang Fan's palm brushed over the fox tail, Concubine Yun Xia's body trembled lightly. Uncontrollable, strange expressions occasionally crossed her face, and she let out light moans as faint as a mosquito's buzz from her nostrils. Noticing her own peculiar reaction, she quickly covered her mouth and nose with her hands, trying not to make any noise. But the trembling gaze still betrayed her tumultuous inner emotions. Jiang Fan was taken aback. "I already touched your chest, why care about the tails?" He then checked each tail one by one. Aside from each tail having a tuft of the same silver fox fur, there was nothing else. Determined not to leave empty-handed, he plucked each tuft of silver fox fur off. Hiss! Concubine Yun Xia instantly gasped in pain. Bastard! I Yun Xia swear to repay today's humiliation tenfold. Such nonsense! Jiang Fan put away the silver fox fur, bent over and hoisted her onto his shoulder. Concubine Yun Xia was humiliated beyond measure. She had been captured by the same man twice. She had barely escaped once, failed to counterattack him, and was caught again. If this got back to the demon clan, how could she face anyone? In her humiliation, she lowered her head and bit down on Jiang Fan's back. Even with Jiang Fan's powerful physique, it hurt quite a bit. He raised his hand and delivered a hard slap to her raised buttocks. Concubine Yun Xia's body shuddered. She quickly let go, her face turning red in an instant. You, I won't spare you. I won't. Jiang Fan snorted. Behave yourself, or you'll suffer even more. Suddenly, Jiang Fan noticed a huge, sneaky wolf crouching behind an ice mountain not far away. That exposed golden claw was too familiar. Who else could it be but the golden claw iron wolf? It's really a loyal wolf of the demon clan, still following. Come over. The golden claw iron wolf had a human clan's collar around its neck. Although it couldn't enslave someone at the 9th layer of the core formation like the evil fate necklace, it could still control the life and death of a demon beast at the 6th layer of the core formation. The golden claw iron wolf cautiously emerged, taking a surreptitious glance at the disheveled concubine Yun Xia with a flushed face and messy hair. It cleared its throat. I just got here. I didn't see anything. You two carry on. It tried to pass by nonchalantly, as if it were just a quiet passerby. Jiang Fan lightly tapped his toe, jumping onto its back with concubine Yun Xia in tow. He punched its head. Shut up and head back to Boundary Mountain. The golden claw iron wolf ground its teeth. This little rascal not only enslaved it, but also had the nerve to call its mouth a dog's mouth. It was too much to bear for even a dog in this situation. It turned to growl menacingly, only to see Jiang Fan drawing out the terrifyingly sharp purple sword. Its menacing expression quickly turned into one of charm. Lord Jiang is going to practice swordsmanship. You practice, continue practicing. Leave the guiding to me, little gold, you can rest assured. Jiang Fan threw concubine Yun Xia to the side. He also placed the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain beside her, activating the 5 magnetic divine light. With the dragon binding chain and the 5 magnetic divine light, even if she recovered part of her divine skills, she would still be unable to use them. Jiang Fan sat cross-legged. With both swords placed across his knees, he closed his eyes to practice sword control technique lower volume. He operated his technique, sending streams of spiritual power into the purple sword. Within the purple sword, streams of sword chi dispersed and surged into Jiang Fan's body. The purple sword was incredibly sharp. It could easily slice through anything even from a distance. Now, even though it was sword chi, it was still incredibly terrifying. As soon as it entered his body, Jiang Fan felt extreme pain as his meridians were cut. He was startled and quickly swallowed a revitalizing pill. After waiting for his meridians to recover, he dared to draw in another stream of sword chi. This time, not only were his meridians cut, but even his internal organs were injured. He had no choice but to wait again for the revitalizing pill to mend his meridians and organs. This made Jiang Fan exclaim in surprise. Is this technique meant to be practiced at the cost of one's life? Luckily, I have undergone body refinement, and my physique is stronger than most otherwise. Wouldn't I be torn apart by the sword chi? Even if someone did manage to gain control of a spiritual artifact like the purple sword at the core formation realm, who could withstand the sword chi within it? The person who created this technique must have been insane. Jiang Fan grumbled for a while. After his internal injuries healed, he drew in sword chi again. As expected, his meridians were cut again. He repeated this process for half a day. By then, Jiang Fan could already see Boundary Mountain on the horizon. He looked at the 9 empty bottles of revitalizing pill in front of him, feeling heartbroken. Who would believe that he had used up 90 revitalizing pills just to practice a sword technique? Along the way, he had consumed revitalizing pills like beans, only to maintain his cultivation. Though the sacrifice was significant, the gains were also substantial. Concubine Yun Xia behind him showed a look of despair as they neared Boundary Mountain. She said angrily, Jiang Fan, you better hope the Demon Emperor never finds out that you captured me. Otherwise, heaven and earth won't save you from death. Jiang Fan turned to glare at her. Invisibly, 2 strands of sword qi shot out, piercing her eyes. Hiss! Instantly, Concubine Yun Xia's eyes were injured, bleeding profusely. She exclaimed, "How does your eye have sword qi? What kind of ridiculous sword technique have you practiced?" This was Jiang Fan's gain. By drawing sword qi into his body and refining it, he had forged his sword body. From now on, every word, every action, every glance would carry sword qi. Jiang Fan was very pleased with the results. But what he most anticipated was the union of the sword body and sword heart, sword flight. As they neared Boundary Mountain, he suppressed the urge to try it out, to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. If he were mistaken for being at the nascent soul realm, it would be quite a situation. Suddenly, Jiang Fan noticed the sky turning dark. He looked up to see a thick cloud covering his head. Jiang Fan frowned. On a clear day, where did this cloud come from, and why was it only covering him? At the same time, a gentle voice slowly called from behind, "Fellow Taoist ahead, might you travel with me?" Jiang Fan turned his head to look. He saw a handsome, middle-aged man walking on the vast snowfield with his hands behind his back. He had long golden hair, fair skin, wore a black outfit underneath and a red cloak outside. With each casual step, it was as if he instantly moved dozens of feet. He resembled the legendary shrinking land into inches. Jiang Fan's pupils contracted sharply. What kind of divine skill was this? He did not dare to be negligent, quickly stood up, gripped the purple sword defensively and said, "May I ask the senior's esteemed name?" The golden-haired middle-aged man approached slowly with a faint smile on his face. "Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion." He was a person from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Jiang Fan glanced at the nearby Boundary Mountain and pondered slightly. With the decisive battle imminent, it was not surprising that the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion dispatched a strong expert to aid. Furthermore, being so close to the Boundary Mountain, no demon race would dare to approach alone, right? Otherwise, if Vice Pavilion Master Yi took action, whoever came would have to stay. He cupped his hands and said, "Disciple Jiang Fan greets the senior from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion." Concubine Yun Xia's body trembled violently, and she suddenly looked up. When she saw the middle-aged man clearly, her eyes revealed immense disbelief, followed by deep joy. Her gaze towards Jiang Fan was full of mockery. The golden claw iron wolf's eyes widened further. Its limbs shook uncontrollably, almost collapsing to the ground. The golden-haired middle-aged man stepped forward and gently patted its leg. "What an obedient spiritual pet!" His words almost made the golden claw iron wolf die then and there. Its limbs trembling non-stop, it whimpered in fright. It wanted to explain, but the golden-haired middle-aged man was already on its back, sitting cross-legged. Indifferently, he said, "Go to the Boundary Mountain." The demon wolf did not dare to disobey. It took heavy steps and swiftly headed towards the Boundary Mountain. Fearing that any delay would result in dire consequences, Jiang Fan grew wary of the uninvited senior from the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. He immediately retrieved the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain. To prevent Concubine Yun Xia from regaining her mobility, he pressed the sword against her neck and shouted, "Behave! We are almost at the Boundary Mountain. Don't force me to harm you." Unexpectedly, Concubine Yun Xia behaved very well and did not move or make a sound. She only showed a slight cold smile where Jiang Fan could not see. The golden-haired middle-aged man glanced over indifferently and asked, "Who is she?" Jiang Fan replied, "Concubine Yun Xia. Pardon the senior. This woman is the demon emperor's concubine. Not only is she deviously cunning, but also quite dangerous and most troublesome of all, very hard to kill. I had no choice but to capture her and hand her over to the elders." The golden-haired middle-aged man nodded slightly, in appreciation. "Heroic youth. Once, you turned the tide, destroying 10,000 demons. Now you have single-handedly captured the demon emperor's concubine. Your name has spread across both human and demon realms." Jiang Fan was observant. He faintly sensed something was off. This person did not seem to be praising him. Rather, there seemed to be an underlying suppressed anger. He concealed his suspicion without revealing it, humbly said, "The senior overpraises. It's just luck. I wonder if the senior has an important task on this trip." The golden-haired middle-aged man gazed at the Boundary Mountain indifferently and said, "A family in trouble, here to assist." After a pause, he looked at Jiang Fan and said, "You are quite capable, you must be exceptionally wise. I have a question that has troubled me for a long time and would like to hear your opinion." Jiang Fan's eyes shifted slightly. "Please." "Senior," the golden-haired middle-aged man said, A warlord with the help of many subordinates becomes a king. However, the king is alone, and the subordinates' families are powerful and intertwined, always threatening the king's rule. What do you think should be done? Jiang Fan was puzzled inside. He expected something related to cultivation, but this was not hard to answer. Our human clan's history long ago provided an answer. When founding kings grow old and weak, to ensure smooth transfer of power to the next generation, they all do the same thing, which is to slaughter their meritorious officials, to eliminate threats. However, this is a last resort taken when the king is near death, often leaving a bad name in history. This is the last resort. The golden-haired middle-aged man showed great interest. Oh, there are middle and top strategies. Jiang Fan nodded slightly. A smarter king begins to plan years before his death, promoting treacherous officials to use their hands to remove the meritorious ones. The king benefits without soiling his hands, but will eventually be known for employing treacherous officials. This is the middle strategy. After a pause, Jiang Fan said, the top strategy can be described as perfect. He finds an excuse to start a war, using the war to suppress the meritorious official's power. If victorious, the king enhances his power with the victory. If defeated, the fault is blamed on the meritorious ones, removing the target. Moreover, war is always cruel. Whether winning or losing, the meritorious official's power will be diminished. The king stands aloof, reaping the benefits, while the meritorious officials bear the burdens. This is the top strategy, but this strategy loses the people's hearts and will eventually lead to backlash. Caution! Clap, clap. The golden-haired middle-aged man gently clapped, openly showing his admiration. Young man, you see things very clearly. Your answer is impeccable. Let me ask you another question. He slowly stood up. Staring at Jiang Fan, he said, if an enemy faction produces a very capable junior with astonishing talent, extreme intelligence, and has ruined our major plans, given time, he will become a great threat. If it were you, what would you do? Jiang Fan thought seriously. He then pulled Concubine Yun Xia up, the purple sword cutting into her neck. He said calmly, of course, just like you ask around. Is it fun to tease a junior like this? Demon Emperor. The air seemed to suddenly freeze. The golden claw iron wolf broke into a cold sweat. Did this little guy figure it out? Concubine Yun Xia was slightly surprised as well. Jiang Fan had seen through the ruse. The demon emperor laughed heartily. Terrifying demon energy surged into the sky, causing the thunder in the clouds to rumble loudly. At the same time, a strong wind blew, lifting the snow into the air, blocking the sun. It was like the end of the world. Ha ha ha. Interesting, how did you determine that I am the demon emperor? The demon emperor, with hands behind his back, stared at Jiang Fan with a half-smile. He was in no hurry to make a move. Jiang Fan tightened the chain around Concubine Yun Xia's neck, with the purple sword pressing closely against her throat. His expression cold. Because your concubine and demon wolf have behaved far too obediently since you arrived. There is only one person who can subdue them so thoroughly. Apart from the demon emperor, I can't think of anyone else. A strong expert from the heavenly mechanism pavilion appeared, yet Concubine Yun Xia, who did not fear death, remained quiet. The golden claw iron wolf, usually talkative, stayed silent. Only one possibility existed. The presence of the golden-haired middle-aged man made them absolutely submissive. Moreover, the golden-haired middle-aged man's appearance was entirely human, without any demon traits. Among the whole demon race, there was only one who met these criteria: the demon emperor. Do you dare to search me? You're quite clever indeed. The demon emperor gave a faint smile. No wonder you're able to speak of the great unity world, fooling the southwestern military camp demons and deceiving this emperor's concubine. It turns out, Jiang Fan's void flow thunder force stimulated the nascent soul breath in Concubine Yun Xia's heart, and at the same time it alerted the demon emperor. Realizing that Concubine Yun Xia was in danger, he rushed there. Being near the southwestern military camp, he naturally took a trip there as well. He briefly listened to what had happened. Upon first hearing of the great unity world, he was also somewhat shaken. That's why he posed a difficult question to test Jiang Fan. Unexpectedly, Jiang Fan indeed had some capabilities. His lower, middle, and upper strategies all made the demon emperor sigh in amazement, thinking how wonderful it would be if this child were a demon. What a pity. Not only was he was also a mortal enemy of the demon race, a young member of the human clan. The demon emperor stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Tell me, what should I do with you? Isn't it best to root you out completely?" Jiang Fan said coldly, "Do as you wish." In any case, you won't be lonely in the afterlife with your concubine accompanying you. The demon emperor shook his head. He said calmly, "You seem to have some misunderstanding about me." With that, he casually waved his hand. A terrifying and majestic force struck Concubine Yun Xia's abdomen. The terrifying power directly pierced through her abdomen, creating a bloody hole. Her heart-wrenching scream echoed out. Already having not fully recovered from her internal injuries, her condition worsened. This power didn't lose momentum, and after piercing through Yun Xia, struck Jiang Fan. Bang! A muffled noise sounded. Jiang Fan's abdomen was also blown open, and he was sent flying, crashing far into the snow. Jiang Fan was astounded. Wasn't Yun Xia his most beloved concubine? How could he disregard her life and death so easily? The demon emperor said calmly, "I never accept threats." He approached Yun Xia. With his finger, he squeezed out a drop of immensely pure essence blood, letting it fall onto her abdomen. His essence blood was even more miraculous than revitalizing pill. The life-threatening huge bloody hole began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Thank you, Demon Emperor." Despite the immense pain, Yun Xia knelt on one knee. The Demon Emperor then produced a severed finger. It was Battle King Duogu's, severed right from his hand. He untied the chains on Yun Xia, showing a look of affection as he helped her up. "You've suffered." He cradled Yun Xia's stunning, immortal beauty, gently leaning forward to kiss her forehead. Yun Xia struggled to free herself. She stepped back 3 steps, distancing herself. She bowed slightly and said, "Please respect yourself, Demon Emperor." The Demon Emperor stretched out his hand, sighed slightly after a while. "Forget it." He turned his gaze back to Jiang Fan, noticing Jiang Fan's wound healing rapidly. He expressed slight surprise. "How much healing effect do you have in your body to recover so quickly?" Yun Xia took a moment to stabilize herself, then turned to look at Jiang Fan with a surge of murderous intent in her eyes and said, "Demon Emperor, please let me kill him with my own hands." The humiliation throughout the journey finally faced an end. The Demon Emperor said indifferently, "Leave him." "What?" Yun Xia couldn't believe it and said, "Demon Emperor, he is Jiang Fan, the one who destroyed the Dead Spirit Army's plan, Jiang Fan. He's the shame of our entire demon race." The Demon Emperor's gaze remained calm as he said, "Killing him in front of the demon army can boost morale. Killing him in front of the human army for venting our anger can demoralize the enemy. Killing him now, however, is worthless." Yun Xia was extremely unwilling, but she realized that the Demon Emperor's deep eyes were quietly watching her. "When did you become so bloodthirsty? Or did he do something to you that deserves death?" Yun Xia's expression stiffened. How could she dare admit that Jiang Fan had touched her all over, and not just once but twice? Immediately she concealed her killing intent, saying, "He captured me twice." "Such a humiliation, how can I calm down if I don't kill him?" The Demon Emperor nodded slightly. The strongest concubine of the demon race, captured twice by the same human. Especially since this human was just a youngster. Anyone in Yun Xia's place would be unable to resist seeking Jiang Fan's death. "When the time comes for him to die, I will let you do the honors." The Demon Emperor's tone brooked no argument. He insisted on keeping Jiang Fan alive. Yun Xia was extremely unwilling, gritting her teeth, she said, "Then twist off his limbs, let him know the taste of torture," plucking her original foxtail fur, breaking her bones. However cruelly Jiang Fan treated her, she wanted to return it in kind. She wouldn't let him off easy. "What value is there in torturing him?" The Demon Emperor shook his head lightly. "Feed him well and bring him back to the demon race. When the time comes to kill him, let him go with dignity." With that, he picked up the dragon binding chain and threw it in front of Jiang Fan. "Put it on yourself and obediently follow Yun Xia back to the demon race. Consider it your reward for solving my problem." The Demon Emperor spoke calmly. Yun Xia asked in surprise, "What about you, Demon Emperor?" The Demon Emperor gazed off into the distant sky. There, at the edge of the heavens, a dark cloud was rapidly approaching. "I naturally have an old friend to meet. Go now." Yun Xia's pupils shook. The heavenly mechanism pavilion master had arrived. She didn't dare delay, leaping to Jiang Fan's side and kicking the dragon binding chain on the ground. "Do you need me to help you?" Jiang Fan wouldn't dare let her help. This woman was full of resentment, thinking of ways to take revenge on Jiang Fan. With the Demon Emperor present, Jiang Fan didn't harbor any illusions. He locked himself up. The Demon Emperor wouldn't kill him, and he also forbade Yun Xia from mistreating him. It was already an unimaginable favor. If he failed to appreciate it and the Demon Emperor's killing intent arose, no matter how many life-saving measures he had, they'd all be futile. It was better to first follow Yun Xia, looking for an opportunity to escape midway. Yunxia picked up Jiang Fan, threw him onto the back of the Golden Claw Iron Wolf. She punched the Golden Claw Iron Wolf's head, saying, "What are you standing there for?" The Golden Claw Iron Wolf whimpered pitifully. Jiang Fan hit it, Yunxia hit it too. In both the human and demon races, wasn't it an outsider altogether? As they moved away, the dark cloud arrived as well. The Demon Emperor's golden hair danced wildly in the wind, his eyes full of battle intent. Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master, long time no see. I wonder how your Heavenly Thunder 6 parts Black Sky Eyes training has gone. I, the Demon Emperor, would like to learn again. From the clouds came a cold and majestic voice. Then you must be prepared to fall here. Crackle, 2 straight bolts of lightning pierced through the sky and earth. A hearty laugh rang out as the Demon Emperor soared into the sky, diving into the clouds and clashing in a great battle. For a moment, the thunder roared and gales howled. Great tremors like the collapse of heaven and earth swept the surroundings. Far away at the boundary mountain, everyone watched the scene of heaven and earth changing color, all in shock and terror. Jiang Fan and his companions, not far off, felt the terrifying majesty and power. Jiang Fan had no doubt if he neared the battlefield, even a slight impact would turn him to ash. As they moved further away, gradually Jiang Fan looked towards the horizon, frowning. This isn't the direction to the demon race's heartland, is it? The demon race's heartland should be to the north, but they were heading northeast. Yunxia glared at him and said, "Why do you care so much?" "Get up." Jiang Fan was puzzled. "What for?" "The Demon Emperor said to treat me well, not to harm me." "Do you dare disobey the Demon Emperor's command?" Yunxia snorted. "Hand over everything on you. Don't make me search you." Fan all the way, using both wits and strength. Twice she had suffered major setbacks, falling into traps thanks to his endless tricks. She couldn't allow Jiang Fan to keep those things. But Jiang Fan blurted out, "Then search me. If you search me, I can search you too. That would make us even." Concubine Yun Xia, embarrassed and angry, said, "Shameless. Golden Claw Iron Wolf, you search him." The running Golden Claw Iron Wolf came to a stop. It raised its giant paw as big as a small mountain and compared it to Jiang Fan's size. "Concubine Yun Xia, are you sure you want me to search?" it asked uncertainly. Jiang Fan wasn't even as big as its paw. Concubine Yun Xia looked at the fearless Jiang Fan, picked up his purple sword and pressed it against his neck. "Will you hand it over?" Jiang Fan, with no fear, crossed his arms. "No, if you have the guts, kill me." Concubine Yun Xia was furious. This bastard. She thought capturing him would bring her sweet revenge. But the Demon Emperor's order not to kill or harm him made Jiang Fan act like a big shot. He was totally untouchable. She had to continue enduring his arrogance. "Search then." Concubine Yun Xia gritted her teeth and walked over. She even extended her hand. But she was still too ashamed, muttering, "Where did that damn girl Chun Nai go? Why isn't she coming over?" At this moment, Jiang Fan's tone softened. All right. I don't want to make it hard for you. I'll do it myself." He took out the jade box, the nascent soul jade token that concerned Concubine Yun Xia the most. Concubine Yun Xia quickly grabbed it, then thought of something else, and that 5-colored little mountain. The 5 magnetic divine light had given her enough trouble. It was also quite a threat. Jiang Fan reluctantly took it out and tossed it to her, saying, "You better catch it properly." Concubine Yun Xia caught it casually. Unexpectedly, an unimaginable force pressed down on her. Even with her strength, she nearly didn't catch it, almost crushing the Golden Claw Iron Wolf below. She quickly used a skill to divert the force and threw the 5-colored little mountain away. Boom, the little mountain hit the side, sinking a large ice sheet. The Golden Claw Iron Wolf's hair stood up in shock, screaming, "Careful, I'm down here." Jiang Fan secretly lamented. If he could merge that pile of 5-colored stone into the 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, that would be great. He estimated that just a moment ago, it could have killed Concubine Yun Xia. What's with this mountain so strange? Concubine Yun Xia still felt lingering fear. Jiang Fan held it as light as a feather, but when she touched it, it felt like a mountain. "What else?" Concubine Yun Xia stared at Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan then took out 9 tufts of fox fur. Concubine Yun Xia snatched it away, grunting, "Nothing else." Jiang Fan said, "Purple sword, nascent soul jade token, 5 magnetic Yuan Mountain, fox fur. They are all with you. What more do you want?" Concubine Yun Xia squinted her eyes, humming, "No way. Earlier, you took out a demon beast's corpse to trick me." "Such a large demon beast's corpse. You definitely have a space storage device. Also, your purple sword is too randomly appearing and disappearing. Undoubtedly, it's also in that space storage device." Hand it over. Damn it. Jiang Fan gritted his teeth and reluctantly took out the heavenly thunder stone from his bosom. Concubine Yun Xia snatched it away, sweeping her divine sense inside, her expression changing. Seven-colored mysterious ice, blood bodhi, thousand-year spiritual meat, divinity transformation blood essence, demon moon's jade bone necklace, heavenly mountain silk, mirage demon pill, thunder extension order. Concubine Yun Xia could hardly believe her eyes. She exclaimed, "Are you really just a little disciple? This collection is more than a sect master." As a demon emperor concubine, she didn't even have that many treasures. Jiang Fan said with a solemn face, "Aren't they all yours now?" Concubine Yun Xia finally felt some relief from her depressed mood. She couldn't help but smile, "So you know. From now on, these are all mine." Jiang Fan grunted, "Do you still want to continue the body search?" Concubine Yun Xia, having obtained so many treasures, was already overjoyed, waving her hand. "No need, no need." "Wait." Her beautiful eyes suddenly narrowed. "You boy are always cunning, this time you are so cooperative. I bet you took out some important stuff beforehand, then used the heavenly thunderstone and other things to divert my attention." Thinking for a moment, she suppressed her embarrassment, for safety. "I'll still have to search your body." Suppressing her peculiar feelings, she extended her hand and started searching Jiang Fan's body. Jiang Fan, amused, said, all right, a dignified demon emperor concubine touching me. Not a loss, not a loss. Go ahead, touch all you want." Concubine Yun Xia's face reddened with embarrassment, scolding, "Shut up, it's because you're too cunning. I'm forced to do this. Don't think just because you're saying this, I'll give up. I'll search." Sure enough. In no time, Concubine Yun Xia searched Jiang Fan's bosom and found several jade bottles. She sneered, "I knew you hid something. What's this? Healing pills? This seems like pills to lure demon beasts. This is for replenishing spiritual power. But what's in this pink bottle?" Concubine Yun Xia looked at the last pink jade bottle and was about to open the stopper. Jiang Fan's face changed. "Don't open it. Inside is aphrodisiac powder." "Ah," Concubine Yun Xia, scared, quickly threw it away, angrily and embarrassedly saying, "Why do you carry such disgraceful things? Shameless, despicable, unashamed." Jiang Fan rolled his eyes at her. "What are you panicking for? Even if I use it, I wouldn't use it on a married woman like you, would I? Shoes worn by others, I'm not interested. You." Concubine Yun Xia raised her fist, wanting to beat Jiang Fan up. But thinking of the demon emperor's orders, she could only take a few deep breaths to calm her heaving chest. She shoved all the spirit pills into the space storage device. Except for the aphrodisiac. She kicked it away in disgust. Jiang Fan caught it in time, stuffed it into his sleeve, and grunted, "My stuff, you can confiscate it, but don't touch it." Concubine Yun Xia didn't care about a bottle of aphrodisiac. She didn't notice. A glint of excitement flashed deep in Jiang Fan's eyes. This was the 6 harmonies immortal given to him by Yue Mingzhu. Even someone in the nascent soul realm found it hard to resist. If she pushed him too far, Jiang Fan would use the 6 harmonies immortal as a threat, and they would both be in trouble. He didn't believe Concubine Yun Xia was afraid of death, but not of losing her reputation. Concubine Yun Xia didn't notice this, but she noticed the chains on Jiang Fan's hands and remembered something important. "I almost forgot. Hand over the key to the dragon binding chain." At that time, Wu Manyu had stuffed the key into Jiang Fan's pants. It must be in Jiang Fan's possession. Luckily, she remembered. Otherwise, Jiang Fan could unlock the chains without her knowing. "Heh!" Jiang Fan rolled his eyes and lay directly on the furry wolf's back. He pointed at his pants. "Aren't you good at searching? Continue searching, it's in there." He didn't believe this woman would dare to touch there. Who knew? Concubine Yun Xia, blushing, gritted her teeth. "I'll search then." "Better than you escaping and tricking me again?" She feared Jiang Fan. Giving him a tiny chance, and he could turn the tables. Being captured for the 3rd time was something she wouldn't dare experience. She immediately reached inside with her smooth, jade-like hand. "Spirit, hey, hey, hey." Jiang Fan was startled awake, quickly sitting up. Holding her hand down, he exclaimed, You really dare to touch it." Concubine Yun Xia's face was completely red. Through gritted teeth, she said, "You forced me. If you hand it over, there'll be no problem, right? Let go." She forcefully pushed her hand in. Jiang Fan's face turned red with embarrassment, quickly saying, "I'll give it to you." Only then did Concubine Yun Xia reluctantly withdraw her hand, her face still red. She turned her head away, extending her hand towards Jiang Fan. "Hand it over and don't play any tricks." Jiang Fan was indeed afraid of her. Despite seeming so conservative, her heart was ruthless, and her courage exceeded even Yue Mingzhu's. He felt around in his tied-up hair, retrieved a finger-length key, and placed it in Concubine Yun Xia's hand. "Take it and get lost," Concubine Yun Xia checked to ensure it was the key. Only then did the unease in her heart dissipate. Only when Jiang Fan was honestly restrained was he a good Jiang Fan. Whenever he had something that she couldn't control on him, Concubine Yun Xia felt uneasy. In fact, she was a strong practitioner of the 9th layer of core formation and had survived a tribulation, far surpassing the typical 9th layer of core formation. But she was still full of dread toward Jiang Fan. "Now I can rest easy." Concubine Yun Xia sat down. With great satisfaction, she counted the spoils she had seized from Jiang Fan. "Yun Xia, Yun Xia." Suddenly, a distant call accompanied by rumbling vibrations approached. It was Demon King Chunny. Concubine Yun Xia almost blew her nose in anger. "You sure picked the right time to come." If she had arrived earlier, she wouldn't have had to shamefully search Jiang Fan herself, and to be scolded as shameless by Jiang Fan. As soon as Demon King Chunny arrived, she was met with a fierce glare from Concubine Yun Xia. Chunny couldn't help but shrink back a bit, saying, "Yun Xia, what did I do wrong?" She looked like a child who had made a mistake. Concubine Yun Xia couldn't bear to blame her, saying, "Never mind, it's not your fault. Also, don't call me randomly. Whether there are people or not, always call me Concubine Yun Xia." She didn't want anyone to know about the intimate relationship between the two. "Oh, Concubine Yun Xia," Demon King Chunny obediently replied. Concubine Yun Xia sighed deeply, feeling completely exhausted. It had only been a day since she was first captured alive by Jiang Fan, but it felt like a long nightmare to her, making her extraordinarily tired. Fortunately, the nightmare ended with Jiang Fan's capture. However, Demon King Chunny seemed to recall something. With a grimace, she took out a piece of beast hide from her bosom and handed it to Concubine Yun Xia. "I'm sorry, Imperial Concubine. I asked around, but no one recognized the demon race text on this." Concubine Yun Xia accepted it. She suddenly remembered that she divided the beast hide with the Dayang clan's demon race script into two. One part was given to Demon King Chunny to take back to the demon race and ask the elders if anyone knew this ancient script. She herself kept the other half to slowly identify through ancient books. But the demon race was not good at recording civilization. Despite going through many ancient books, she could barely recognize a few words, while the rest was like an unreadable divine script. It was beyond her wildest expectations. That someone in this world could understand the Dayang clan's demon race script and casually read it aloud. This person was none other than Jiang Fan. Thinking about having to involve Jiang Fan, Concubine Yun Xia felt her scalp tingle. She had a deep sense of resistance, sure enough. When she looked towards Jiang Fan, he was also looking at her with a half-smile. "Oh, Concubine Yun Xia, do you need my help to interpret the Dayang clan's demon race script?" "I am a helpful person. I would be happy to oblige, but my legs are sore. I hope Concubine Yun Xia can massage them for me." "Look at that. What did I say? This guy was impossible to touch. Once touched, he'd stick to you." Concubine Yun Xia ground her silver teeth, wanting to tell Jiang Fan to get lost. Yet the reality was, for the Dayang clan's demon race script, she could only seek Jiang Fan's help. Something practical. Concubine Yun Xia prepared herself for a considerable concession. Jiang Fan hooked his finger, saying, "I'll help you interpret the Dayang clan's demon race script. But my belongings, not a single one less, all returned to me." "What?" Concubine Yun Xia felt a pang of pain. This heavenly thunder stone, she hadn't even warmed it up, and now she had to return it. Thinking about all the treasures inside that made her heart race, she felt immensely reluctant. "It seems my collection is more important than the cave mansion you mentioned. You should take good care of my heavenly thunder stone." He comfortably lay back down, clearly wanting to be in control. Concubine Yun Xia was exasperated, struggling for a while, then said, "Fine, I'll return them. But the nascent soul jade token, the purple sword, and the 5 magnetic Yuan mountain are excluded. The rest will be returned to you." She angrily threw the heavenly thunder stone back. Jiang Fan laughed and sat up, grabbing the heavenly thunder stone, went out for a round, and now it's back. "Concubine Yun Xia, was it all really necessary? You wasted your effort on me. You searched my body, lost your face, and got scolded. Tusk, tusk, tusk." Concubine Yun Xia angrily slapped the other half of the beast hide in front of him. "Enough with the nonsense. Read it." Jiang Fan picked up the beast hide. Leisurely, he said, "Let me take a look. This second half is enigmatic as well. The rough meaning is, 99 returns to the beginning, meeting spring in snowy morning. Ancient and modern Yellow Springs dreams all say it's a lingering wind. After reading it, Jiang Fan recalled the first half. Western clouds cover the sky, bell sound rises at midnight. Good and evil split in two paths, sitting in front of Buddha for conversion. Connecting the two parts, he couldn't help but frown. Are you sure nothing is missing? It doesn't seem like a treasure map indicating a location. Concubine Yun Xia's willow-shaped eyebrows furrowed. The 8 aphorisms were too vague, leaving people clueless. Rather than indicating the location of an ancient cave mansion, it seemed more like an aimless doggerel poem. But since the person held on to this when dying, it mustn't be ordinary. Suddenly, after reciting it several times, Jiang Fan's eyes lit up, saying, I got it. This doggerel poem conceals the location. Concubine Yun Xia's face lit up with joy. What did you find? Jiang Fan extended his palm. Return one of my belongings. You, Concubine Yun Xia bit her red lips, saying, You really don't miss any chance. You better not be fooling me. After thinking for a moment, she threw the purple sword back to Jiang Fan. Speak. Jiang Fan held the purple sword, feeling much more at ease. He said, Link the first characters of the 4 lines of the second half. Concubine Yun Xia thought for a moment, saying, 9 dynasties, ancient, capital, 9 dynasty, ancient, capital. She suddenly stood up. Isn't that the demon race's ancient ruins? In ancient times, the 9 demon emperors established the demon race's imperial city there. Later, it was destroyed by the ancient giants, turning into ruins. Subsequent generations called it the 9 dynasty ancient capital. So that's where it is. Concubine Yun Xia's face showed a wave of joy. Then she read the first 4 lines of the first half. West Bell, good Buddha, West Bell, could it be West Bell Temple? Concubine Yun Xia became more certain. Indeed, there was a once famous ancient temple in the 9 dynasty ancient capital. Its name was West Bell Temple. As for good Buddha, it's not clear. We can only find out when we get there. Golden Claw Iron Wolf, change course to the west, head for the demon race's 9 dynasty ancient capital. At this moment, the black mirror vibrated slightly. The evil spirit sighed softly. It seems everything is destined. Oh, Jiang Fan heard the implication in his tone, surprised. Do you know that place? The evil spirit replied in a complicated tone. Of course, that is where I fell. Soul being before its death, it also fell there, demonstrating just how dangerous that place was. And Jiang Fan recalled, I remember you said you died fighting the Tiger Demon Emperor over the Black Mirror. Later, the Tiger Demon Emperor fell mysteriously. Could this be related to that place? The evil spirit rolled its eyes. I was dead by then. You're asking me, who am I supposed to ask? After a moment of contemplation, it added, however, judging by the timeline. I fear the Tiger Demon Emperor also faced danger in the 9 dynasty ancient capital. Although he survived, he died shortly afterwards. Hiss, Jiang Fan's scalp tingled. The Tiger Demon Emperor was even stronger than the evil spirit, already touching the edge of divinity transformation. He also fell in the 9 dynasty ancient capital. There must be great dangers. I need to think this over carefully, Jiang Fan said, gripping the purple sword tightly. Both the evil spirit and the Tiger Demon Emperor were powerful beings in their time. They both fell here. Jiang Fan and Concubine Yun Xia would be courting death by going there. Don't worry, the evil spirit reassured. I know this place well enough to keep you safe. Seeing Jiang Fan wavering, the evil spirit couldn't help but feel anxious. Without Jiang Fan leading the way, it had no way of obtaining that nascent soul body to perform rebirth by corporeal possession. Jiang Fan laughed in exasperation. Look at yourself in a mirror and see your appearance. Do you think anything you say is half believable? At its peak, it fell in the 9 dynasty ancient capital. Now, as nothing but a remnant soul, it could hardly protect itself, let alone Jiang Fan. The evil spirit hesitated. That hidden place has an inner and outer realm. I and the Tiger Demon Emperor were both harmed in the inner realm. The dangers of the outer realm were flattened by us long ago, and the nascent soul's ancient corpse I discovered is in the outer realm. Jiang Fan didn't trust a single word. He silently considered, looking for the right moment to use sword flight to escape from Concubine Yun Xia. Though it would be a pity for the nascent soul jade token and the 5 magnetic Yuan mountains still in her possession. But for his life, a sacrifice had to be made. At this moment, Concubine Yun Xia was focused on traveling, showing only her back to Jiang Fan. Demon King Chun Nai didn't bother to keep an eye on Jiang Fan either, to 2 9th layer of core formation experts. At this moment, Jiang Fan had no chance to escape, just as Jiang Fan found the right moment to initiate sword flight. The evil spirit gritted its teeth and said, All right, actually I didn't only find the nascent soul's ancient corpse. Beside him, I also found his space storage device. But because of the Tiger Demon Emperor, I pretended not to know, planning to return secretly after they parted ways to take the nascent soul ancient corpse and space storage device. I didn't expect to die in the inner realm. This time, having you take me to that nascent soul's ancient corpse, rebirth by corporeal possession is secondary. The main goal was his space storage device. Nascent soul expert space storage device. Jiang Fan's heart pounded. He once benefited from the nascent soul ancient cave mansion under the snowy cliff. He obtained the 3 pure thunder shadow and infinite ring. That was something the other person had casually left behind. Now, to find an intact space storage device with the entire wealth of a nascent soul expert inside. He couldn't imagine how many extraordinary items it held. After much consideration, he asked, "Are you sure the outer realm is safe?" The evil spirit replied, "If it were dangerous, I wouldn't dare let you go. If you fell in there, wouldn't I also be trapped in the mirror forever?" That made sense. The two, for now, shared gloriously and suffered together. Without rebirth by corporeal possession, if Jiang Fan died, the evil spirit gained nothing. Of course, this evil spirit's words could only be half-trusted. Jiang Fan still needed to enhance his own strength to guard against any mishaps. With this in mind, he glanced at the 2 women who still paid him no attention. Then he stealthily inspected the heavenly thunder stone, finding an inconspicuous white jade bone amid the heavenly materials and earthly treasures. On it were crookedly carved demon race characters. It was the Brahma Saint True Spirit technique, known to be found in the giant sect's Holy Land authored by Lu Jiolin. Previously, due to not understanding demon race characters, he could not cultivate it. Now, he could finally study this body-refining technique that both human and demon clans could cultivate. Brahma Saint True Spirit Technique, Earth-Level High Techniques. Divided into 4 symbols, heaven, earth, human, and divine. Cultivating one symbol makes one invincible at the core formation realm. By cultivating 2 symbols, demon race can take human form, and human clan can achieve the golden body. Seeing this, Jiang Fan's pupils shrank. The demon race taking form, didn't that mean a demon emperor? And the golden body referred to the human physique, breaking through its limits to rival a demon emperor. By cultivating 3 symbols, one can become invincible at the nascent soul realm. By cultivating 4 symbols, I'm ashamed, though I created this technique. I didn't have the opportunity to cultivate the 4th symbol, but my guess is it can battle the divinity transformation realm. Hiss. Jiang Fan's pupils flickered intensely. 3 symbols invincible at nascent soul, 4 symbols able to battle divinity transformation. No wonder it was created by a half-demon close to the divinity transformation realm. It was indeed extraordinary. His heart surged with excitement. If he could cultivate it, wouldn't he immediately become invincible below the nascent soul level? To accomplish any one of the symbols, one needs true spirit blood. This blood is rare in the world, not easily found unless by someone with great fortune. True spirit blood. Jiang Fan retracted his divine sense. His eyes showed a pondering expression. At this moment, he noticed Concubine Yun Xia staring at him with narrowed eyes. "What are you doing?" she asked suspiciously. Jiang Fan snapped out of it and replied frankly, "Reading a book. I read about a kind of blood called true spirit blood." "Concubine Yun Xia, with your vast knowledge, you must have heard of it." Concubine Yun Xia nodded. "Do you want to know?" She extended her hand toward Jiang Fan. "What do you mean?" Jiang Fan asked. Concubine Yun Xia said, "One blood bodhi and I'll tell you what true spirit blood is." Jiang Fan was taken aback. "You need something just to answer a question." Concubine Yun Xia laughed. "Isn't that copying you? For translating a few Daeng clan's demon race characters, you took a space storage device in return." "All right." The boomerang hit him back. Jiang Fan took out a blood bodhi and tossed it to her. "Speak." Concubine Yun Xia's pretty face lit up with joy. For a 9th layer of core formation expert, this was a precious treasure. It could resist a heavenly tribulation. True spirit blood is the essence blood of a sage realm demon race. Ah, Jiang Fan was dumbfounded. Sage realm demon race? Let alone even meeting them who would dare ask for it. Of course, their descendants also have diluted true spirit blood. With enough of their blood, one might refine a single drop. However, sage demon race members are already few. Most fell in the ancient war 1,000 years ago. The remaining 10 or fewer bloodlines are scattered across the world. Finding them is no easy task. There was another unspoken understanding. Even if found, so what? The bloodline descendants of a sage would be incredibly powerful clans who would dare to lay hands on them. That was courting death. Jiang Fan thought of this as well and couldn't help but laugh bitterly. Was it a technique he could aspire to? He instantly gave up the thought of cultivating it. He waved his hand and said, "Take it, take it." As good as feeding it to a dog. He just gave away a blood bodhi for nothing. What a huge loss. Concubine Yun Xia glared at him. "You can't say anything nice, can you?" This guy, why did he always make her angry? She almost wanted to smear the blood bodhi on his face. But considering the question was answered, the anger was felt, and destroying the blood bodhi would be her loss. She grudgingly decided to accept it. But just then, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck, flashing past Concubine Yun Xia at high speed. The blood bodhi in her hand instantly disappeared. Heavenly thunder 6 parts cloud shadow? Concubine Yun Xia was stunned, immediately glaring at Jiang Fan with fury in her eyes. But she saw Jiang Fan sitting there calmly. Moreover, he showed deep surprise, looking up at the sky. It was someone else who also mastered the heavenly thunder 6 parts cloud shadow. Looking up, Concubine Yun Xia's pupils shrank. She saw a spirit boat hovering in the air above her, surrounded by lightning. On the boat stood an old man and 2 youngsters. One of them, a sharp-faced girl about 19 years old, was looking at the blood bodhi with a delighted expression. "I didn't expect such a tattered place to have something as good as a blood bodhi. The probability of breaking through the nascent soul realm has increased by another 10%, hee. Concubine Yun Xia scolded angrily. Isn't it too rude to snatch someone else's belongings? Even though the other party was obviously not simple. But she was also not someone weak and easily taken advantage of. The sharp-faced girl glanced over, her thin lips curling slightly as she said sharply, "What use does a person who failed to survive the tribulation have for a blood bodhi? Even if you have more, it would be hard to break through to the nascent soul realm in this lifetime." With that, she casually tossed a bright red spirit pill down. "This is a spirit pill that prolongs life by 10 years. Take it to live a few more years." Concubine Yun Xia, furious, struck the spirit pill away with a palm strike, saying coldly, "Who wants your pill? Return the blood bodhi to me." Not to mention that a pill that prolongs life paled in comparison to the value of a blood bodhi. Even if it surpassed the value, so what? Openly robbing and then justifying it. Even Jiang Fan frowned slightly. This girl was really overbearing. Relying on a bit of divine skills, she just took someone else's treasure as such, and then nonchalantly threw down a spirit pill as if she was being charitable. The girl sneered, ignoring her disdainfully. The young man beside her, about 20 years old, was rubbing his chin, his gaze wantonly roaming over Concubine Yun Xia's body, lingering even more so on her ample chest. "Which tribe of the demon race are you from? Such a beautiful woman of the demon race is rare indeed. I am Lu Liang of the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Temple, and I wish to befriend you, fairy." The 10,000 Tribulations Holy Temple. Just now, with a face full of anger, Concubine Yun Xia's expression changed drastically. One of the outer realm divine sects, the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Temple. That was a colossal entity, a transcendent force far beyond the demon race's ability to contend with. "Sit down properly. Don't cause trouble while away from home." At this moment, the Taoist-robed old man standing at the front of the spirit boat spoke coldly. Lu Liang and the girl hurriedly shrank back, obediently sitting down, not daring to breathe loudly. The Taoist-robed old man glanced down at them. He had crane-white hair and a child's face, with a terrifying aura swirling around him, even more formidable than the demon emperor. His gaze swept over Concubine Yun Xia, seemingly detecting the demon emperor's aura within her. A trace of fear flickered in his eyes. With a bow, he said, "My young disciples are ignorant and have offended you. The blood bodhi is of great use for my disciples' breakthrough to the nascent soul. I beg you to part with it. This item is a gift to you. Let it serve as an exchange." He waved his horsetail whisk. A strand of silk fell, drifting down into Concubine Yun Xia's hand. She looked at it closely, confusion in her eyes. Though she did not know what it was, its astonishing spirit light was clearly not of ordinary quality. "This is calming lotus silk. Keep it with you, and it will weaken the evil chi within you, giving you hope of breaking through to the nascent soul again." Upon hearing this, Concubine Yun Xia's beautiful eyes sparkled. She showed a look of delight and quickly bowed. "Thank you, senior." The so-called evil chi was the residue within her from the last time she failed to break through to the nascent soul realm. Its presence hindered her ability to sense the nascent soul realm, making it impossible to break through for a long time. This was why the girl had said she would never be able to break through to the nascent soul again. For someone who failed once, it was nearly impossible to break through to the nascent soul again. But this strand of calming lotus silk brought her hope, though it might not completely eliminate the evil chi. Any amount of hope was still hope. The old man nodded. He waved his horsetail whisk again, and the spirit boat turned into a streak of lightning, heading westward. Concubine Yun Xia was overjoyed, her face lighting up with long-lost happiness, until Jiang Fan doused her with cold water. Still smiling, they've gone towards the Nine Dynasty ancient capital. Her expression changed instantly, saying, "Not good." Golden Claw Iron Wolf run faster, if they were late. They wouldn't get anything. In the meantime, on the spirit boat, the girl grumbled, "Master, why were you so polite to that woman? She's just a woman of the demon race." The old man said indifferently, "She has the aura of the demon emperor on her. Unexpectedly, she should be a woman of the sky demon emperor, the ruler among the demon race in this place." The girl scoffed. "We are from the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple, and master, your strength is not weaker than this demon emperor either." "Are you afraid of him?" She glanced at her master's horsetail whisk. Those strands of silk her master usually didn't give to his disciples, but they were given to that woman for nothing. The old man sighed and said, "A strong dragon does not suppress a local snake. The Sky Demon Emperor can unify the demon race. He must have his abilities. There's no need to provoke him if unnecessary. When away from home, more caution and less recklessness is always good." Lu Liang was still thinking about Concubine Yun Xia's stunning immortal beauty and top-grade figure. His eyes rolled as he said, "Master, after we retrieve the Six-Path Master's remains, can we stay here a few more days?" The old man's face slightly sank. "The Six-Path Master is not necessarily dead. Years ago, when he and the Tiger Demon Emperor explored the secret realm of the Nine Dynasty ancient capital, one went missing, the other died violently. The Tiger Demon Emperor is truly dead, but he may not be. From what I know of him, he always leaves a way out. He wouldn't fall so easily." Lu Liang's heart trembled. He showed a trace of worry. "What if he's still alive? Can you handle him, master? After all, he is the notorious Six-Path Master. The number of nascent soul masters who died at his hands can't be counted on 10 fingers. The old man glanced at him. "That's why you must be vigilant. Stop thinking about women." Lu Liang grinned sheepishly. It turned out his master had seen through his thoughts. The old man's tone softened as he said, "Do your job well. If you can find what was stolen by the Six-Path Master years ago, I will negotiate with the Sky Demon Emperor. I'll get that woman for you." Lu Liang was overjoyed. Just thinking about conquering that immortal-like top-grade woman of the demon race made his eyes flare hot with anticipation. Days later, on the far western edge of the demon race lands, this place was no longer a world of boundless white snow. Instead, it was a murky, swamp-like black land. The sky was overcast, never seeing the sun year-round. A rat with wet fur was searching for food in the mud. Suddenly, a patterned viper sprang from the mud beside it, biting it and then coiling around it tightly. The two creatures struggled violently in the mud. Smack at that moment, a huge wolf claw stomped down hard. Both the snake and rat were crushed into pulp on the spot. "Is this the Nine Dynasty ancient capital?" Standing on the back of the Golden Claw Iron Wolf, Jiang Fan was awestruck as he looked at the endless ruins on the black land. Within the sight of dozens of miles around, all were densely dotted ruins, collapsed stone beams, walls swaying in the wind, half-buried stone doors in the mud. One could vaguely see the city's once magnificent prosperity, but 1,000 years later, only rubble remained, a scarred ruin. Concubine Yun Xia sighed slightly. "Our demon race was once glorious. Only powerful demons with humanoid forms or near-human forms would live in such houses. It could be imagined how prosperous the demon race was back then, but it was all in the past. Everything became a lament of history." Her eyes focused, saying, "West Bell Temple is over there." Jiang Fan followed her line of sight. On a towering mountain, there indeed was a dilapidated temple ruin. His heart tightened, saying, "The people from the 10,000 Tribulations holy temple should have arrived at least 2 days before us. I hope we are not too late." This made Concubine Yun Xia tense too. They hastily made their way to the ruined temple. The ground at the former site of the Hall of Great Strength had collapsed, revealing a huge hole. A dust-covered staircase led straight down. On the steps, faintly, there were 3 sets of footprints. It was clear that the 3 had already gone in. "We are indeed late." Jiang Fan frowned. The evil spirit chuckled. "I'm not in a hurry, why are you?" True, the evil spirit should have been more anxious about someone else getting there first. Why hadn't it urged them at all? Could it be that this path did not lead to the secret realm,